The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. It's difficult to understand what it is that you're going through as you're going through it. It's difficult to ascertain where you are on the arrow of time. But if we don't really take a step back and realize the type of pandemic we're really in, a plague of ignorance, greed, bigotry, and devastation. If we don't take a step back and realize that, then we'll never really understand what's going on. Let's unpack that today. We begin with On the Clock with Georgia Ford.
Expecting mothers and their partners are scrambling right now in Lowville, New York. They're trying to figure out where exactly they will be able to deliver their baby. Now, typically, they would have been able to deliver their baby in Lewis County General Hospital, which is not too far from Syracuse, New York. But it was announced yesterday that the General Hospital there will be putting a pause on deliveries. And the reason being is because more than 24 medical professionals have resigned, all because the hospital decided to mandate vaccines. I want you guys to take a look at this. This is the latest coverage on the issue.
2 weeks ago, the Public Health and Health Planning Council approved a revised emergency regulation requiring the COVID-19 vaccine for healthcare personnel. The new regulation removed the religious exemption option. The deadline for personnel in general hospitals and nursing homes to receive their first vaccine dose is September 27th. The regulation does allow for a medical exemption. Access to health care is an essential service. I have been asked several times if I support the vaccination mandate for health care workers and others. The answer is unequivocally yes. The mandate ensures we will have a healthy workforce and that we are not responsible for transmission in or out of our facilities. We as employees have an obligation not to put those we care for or our co-workers at risk. Since the mandate was announced, we've also had 30 employees who have resigned. 464 individuals in the health system are now vaccinated. 165 employees are not yet vaccinated, and it is not clear what they will do. The number of resignations received leaves us no choice but to pause delivering babies at Lewis County General Hospital. There are several other clinical departments at 2 weeks ago, the Public Health and Health Planning Council approved a revised emergency regulation.
Now, Ben, I mean, I feel like this is unprecedented. You have more than 24 employees who are stepping away from their jobs as professionals, medical professionals, saying, I refuse to get vaccinated. And I am therefore willing to compromise my livelihood, my professional career, and not even considering the way that this is going to impact these families. Can you imagine being days away from your delivery date and then finding out that the hospital that you decided to go to is no longer delivering babies?
No, I can't. As a father of 3, I cannot imagine being anywhere near in the window of having a child and having that reality come to fruition. This is a terrifying notion. And it's brought on by, honestly, let's just call it a spade a spade. It's brought on by a level of ignorance and derangement and excitedness. And sometimes we get besides ourselves because of a level of hysteria around a notion. And in this particular instance, I'm talking about all of the hysteria around the vaccine and the idea that it could have a chip in it, or it's tracking you, or it's going to be used to do this or do that, when we have seen millions upon millions of injections around this country and around the world, and people are fine. You know who's not fine are the people who are not vaccinated.
Well, and let's say that these medical professionals decided to stay but not be vaccinated? What position is that in turn putting pregnant mothers, their newborn children, and any family that's there to support them in the birthing process? So if you have medical professionals who probably are going to be dispersing these vaccines anyways, but they themselves have not taken them, what if they were exposed to COVID, let's say, picking their own child up from school or going out to eat because they're not vaccinated? Then they're now in a position as a medical professional to go into these hospitals as they're dealing with patients and, number one, be hypocritical in dispersing the vaccine that they haven't even got themselves. But then, number two, putting people's lives at risk because they could be a carrier of COVID-19.
That's right. That's right. And this is this is the absurdity of the moment, notwithstanding people have suspended with their own sense of self-preservation, right? That's the thing that blows me away. We are dealing with irrational actors, so much so that they are putting the lives of their children at risk. But here's the thing. They're not simply asking to put themselves at risk or their children at risk. They're asking to put you and I at risk and our loved ones at risk because it is their determination to not get the vaccine and their insistence on being able to facilitate critical jobs like, being a nursing assistant in the birthing process or any part of the healthcare system is so critical. And they are insisting, this small group of very vocal anti-vaxxers, they probably overlap with the anti-maskers group. And there's some overlap with January 6th. We can unpack that at another time. The problem is that this group is asking to put other people at risk. And I don't understand why our leaders are capitulating to them.
Well, and I do believe that it's likely we could see more of this. I think this is a direct result from Biden's announcement saying that there was going to be some mandates on the vaccine for people who have been receiving federal contracts. And he had a list of different employers, if you have more than 100 employees, I believe. And so I do think that more companies are going to be put in the situation where once they have to start enforcing that vaccination mandate, we can expect that those people who have been refusing to get it, those people who have decided to get tested each week instead of showing you their vaccine card, they might not stick around after we have to start enforcing these vaccination mandates. And so what is it that companies can do to mitigate their losses? Because in this situation, in a hospital where you have patients who are depending on the medical services, I mean, you're putting people in a bad situation. And so, people got to start preparing for this, whether it means recruiting more part-time, finding temp workers. There's going to have to be some plans put in place because I think this is what we're going to see across the board.
Georgia, I absolutely. I think you're spot on. And I think we need to recognize that this is what we're seeing. This is in motion. What we're seeing right now is almost a concerted effort to ensure that we get the worst results imaginable in terms of this pandemic, in terms of every other aspect of our organizing. And it's the absurdity of the moment, right? It is so absurd that we're dealing with a situation where the people who are in power or the people who are competing to get power, they're doing so based on the premise that we need to do worse with the pandemic, that we need to not have mask mandates, that we need to not have vaccine mandates, right? And they're fighting against not only the president of the United States at this point, they're fighting against the best interest of our species. And these are the people who are being lauded and rewarded, and they are currently in power.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, what's on your radar this morning?
Well, as you can tell, it's the pursuit of power in California that's happening in the recall election of Governor Newsom. And it has to do with the opponent in the form of Larry Elder. Let's catalog this in the category of everyone whose skin to you is not kin to you. I want to play a clip of Larry Elder. He is the Republican candidate who today is going up against Gavin Newsom in this recall election. Let's take a listen in.
When I said to this man that I was a libertarian, he said, I had the libertarian candidate for vice governor of New York on my show. And I asked him, when you were in the Senate in the mid-'60s, would you have voted in favor or against the civil rights legislation in 1964? And this man said he would have voted against it. So I'm asking you, Larry Elder, what would you have done? To the extent that those laws mandate any kind of interference in the private sector, yes, I would have voted against it. I, like a lot of people, are very upset that there is even something called the Americans with Disabilities Act. I do not believe that the private sector should be governed by the government. I think any private...
I want to hold it there because there's so much more that we're going to discuss in terms of that recall election. But Georgia, the thing that I really would love your insight on is how this guy, who not only is anathema to everything we stand for in terms of progress, liberation, justice, Black lives, he is the person that is being lifted up by the opposition to say, hey, California, never mind, you have some of the highest vaccination rates in the country. Never mind, your economy is doing better in this pandemic. Never mind all these things that are going right. There are some things that are going wrong, but we don't think we want somebody who's going to fix the things that are going wrong. We want someone who is like Larry Elder, who is going to make what we're doing right go worse. And I just don't get it for the life of me, Georgia, why there's so many people in this country who are committed to absolutely enacting the very worst policies, even when it's to their own detriment.
You know, I think that there's a number of things that I could speak to on that. But the one that stands out to me is white supremacy is not possible without people like Larry Elder.
Come on.
In order for white supremacy to work, we need Black-bodied people to be able to carry out those initiatives and those objectives. White supremacy can't work without Larry Elder. And all white supremacists are not white. Let's be clear that dominant society can use a pawn like Larry Elder to keep the Black community distracted from the moves that they're making that really are, you know, in the realm of capitalism. A lot of these corporations invest in different political campaigns for their own agenda. And sometimes their agenda is a distraction. If you're focused over here, what else is happening in California that we really need to be paying attention to? What is it that's happening there in that state that some of the people who are running for office or some of the people who own the largest corporations don't want constituents paying attention to? And also, when you look at the fact that Black and brown communities at times in this country historically have not participated in the voting process, it's easier to get people like Larry Elder out or Larry Elder in rather. Or the other thing to that is what's the lesser of two evils, even with the Trump and Biden election, right? When people did go out and vote, there were so many people I remember interviewing that weren't really excited about Biden. They were excited about Trump not being in office.
That's right.
But they weren't, you know, really happy with Biden. He was just the lesser of two evils.
That's right. That's right. I'm in full transparency. I've said as much. I basically had one requirement of Joe Biden, in addition to what we need to get in terms of criminal justice reform, the George Floyd Act, reparations, all the above. But at the end of the day, I needed Joe Biden to not be a fascistic dictator in the form of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was going for the gold. He was going for the grand prize, which was the totality of this democracy. And so I agree with your sentiment. A lot of us energetically opposed Donald Trump more so than we energetically supported Joe Biden. But to that end,
can't that same sentiment be true in this race here, where people are going to despise Larry Elder so much that they don't care who the other candidate is? They're just going to vote for him because they don't want this fool in office.
And therein lies the difficulty, right? As Black people, particularly, we have to be able to split the difference. Just because we voted against, and yes, California, by all means, make sure that Larry Elder does not get anywhere near power. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I have one more clip that I want us to play really quickly. It is the fact that he is a direct descendant, philosophical descendant of Donald Trump in The Big Lie. Here he is already before this campaign is over saying that he won't commit to the results of the election. Let's take a listen.
Whether or not you win or lose, will you accept the results of the election tomorrow? No matter whether you're a Democrat, an independent, or a Republican. Let's all make sure that the election is a fair election. So let's all work together, no matter what the results are, to make sure that the results are valid and legitimate, and everybody who voted should have voted.
Now, we're talking about California, Georgia. We're talking about one of the deepest blue states in the country. Now, this is an opportunity for a Republican to take power because the structural problems in California, it gives them the opportunity to do this over ever so many years. We see there's a recall election, and that's usually a good spot for Republicans to seize power. But he's trying to make it seem as if he's not going to get a fair shake in a deep blue state. And he's trying to sandbag the conversation just like Donald Trump.
You know, have you ever met a halfway sane Black Republican?
To be fair, I have, but I don't see them anywhere on the national stage. Anywhere.
I haven't.
At all.
every Black Republican that I've ever met, the more I get to know them, the more there's just something not right. There's a screw loose was dropped on their head as a baby. I don't know, but I'll say out of all the Black Republicans, and I've met quite a few, I mean, they all have something that's Larry Elderlish about them.
Preach. I'm not stopping.
I don't know what it is.
But I will say this.
Black Republicans.
I will say that there is that there is in a way, perhaps Larry Elders of the world and Candace Owens of the world, maybe we could view them through the lens of themselves being a reaction to white supremacy, and their way. I'm not saying it's right, because it sure as hell is not. But for them, their triangulation is the best way for them to survive white supremacy is to align with white supremacy, while the rest of us are saying, no. The way to do it is to tear it down. But we're going to talk about that a whole lot more in the next half hour, unless we go further. You know, Georgia, you get me talking and I'll get to running.
Absolutely. But first, I want to touch on what's happening in Texas. I know we followed intensively the new abortion bill that they passed there, but Governor Abbott is actually trying to do some bail reform as well. This so-called bail reform bill, I think, is going to impose some huge disparities for people of different economic statuses. I want you guys to take a listen of this clip where he discusses and defends his bill.
We need better parenting, greater parental involvement. We need to restore God in our communities. If we do that, we will be able to reduce crime in this region. Kind of easy to diagnose the causes for the increase in crime in the Houston area. We've seen a rise over the past 2 years in Texas, in Harris County, but also across the United States. There is increasing disrespect for law enforcement that has grown quite aggressive against law enforcement. You're facing a crisis that is a consequence of having elected a lot of judges to the bench in Harris County who ran as Democrat socialists. These Democrat socialist judges, they do believe in letting people out of jail as opposed to keeping people in jail. And that's why you have more criminals, convicted criminals, who are back out onto the streets endangering public safety.
So this new bill is going to require cash upfront in order to bail out, basically preventing people who don't have the money from bailing out. So if you're in a position, you're affluent, you committed a crime, you know, it'd be easier for you to get out. And what Abbott is trying to argue here is that because of different laws that have been passed recently, we're seeing more and more violent criminals be released from jail, and he's trying to prevent that. But the disparity it's going to cause is the people who can't afford to get out, whether they're innocent or not, are going to be stuck in jail.
Yeah. Cash bail has always been a racket particularly one that it exploits the poor and the marginalized communities, of which Black people are disproportionately represented. So therefore, this is a problem directly for the Black community. And to be quite honest, this is part of the problem is the framing that Abbott is allowed to get away with here. Like he frames this as if it is problematic that we look at the criminal justice system and determine that there are people who should not be in jail. Because how many times, Georgia, have we seen story after story after story of people exonerated after the fact? Some of them exonerated after they've been executed. How many of our boys are in jail right now because they sold some weed when there's an entire booming industry getting ready to erupt to the tunes of trillions of dollars just in marijuana sales alone? So I dare to say this entire framing is incorrect. Absolutely. Let the people out of jail that are doing time for crimes that people are getting ready to make money off of. So there is an injustice in this system. And what he's doing is peddling dog whistles of the highest order. That first part about not having parents at home, that's reminiscent of Richard Nixon. That's the Southern strategy at play.
Absolutely. And when you look at the United States, we're the most incarcerated country. And to continue to put systems in place that prevent people from getting out, it is only going to create a country where we not only have an issue, clearly, because we're the most incarcerated country, but this is going to turn into a pandemic of its own.
That's right.
If we allow governors like Abbott to pass these kind of laws and then point to, like you said, communities, that don't have both parents at home, or these little subtle dog whistles where you're isolating the Black community. And you know who did a great job of uncovering this? Ava DuVernay in the movie 13.
That's right.
And when you look at the way that the incarceration system has basically taken the place of slavery.
That's right. No, absolutely. It is a quick way to get cheap labor. And I want to be sure this usage of cheap labor is not germane just to the Republican Party. There's a lot of Democratic governors who like to take trips to Stone Mountain and pose for photos somewhere around 1992, but I digress. There's a lot of people who are culpable with this prison industrial complex. And this is just another way of exploiting not only Black people, because watch out, white folks, if you don't have that cash bail, well, I mean, you have some advantages. Maybe you don't get arrested in the first place. But if you do find yourself in the same lot, you're going to have to pay some of this cash bail, and you better hope that you come from the right side of the tracks.
And the thing is, everybody in the whole entire nation heard about the abortion bill. How many people have heard about this bill? How many people are talking about this bill? Not as many, not even half as many. Right. And the sad thing is, I think you're going to have governors like DeSantis and other governors who roll in that crew who are going to look at this bill and consider adapting it in their own state. And so if we start to implement these types of reforms, it's not going to be good for people who look like you and me.
Absolutely not. And this is where I have a problem with Democrats, because some of the people who sign off on these reforms look like us, vote with us, and expect our vote every single election. And then when it comes time for it, those reforms, those dollars, when someone like myself says defund the police, I'm talking about those reforms that you keep sending extra dollars to them, that those reforms are now coming at our expense. Because how have these dash cams and these body cams actually benefited us, except for when we can pry it out of the hands of the criminal justice system through force? Otherwise, they use these reform dollars to their own personal benefit.
Yeah. No, and I think about Maayan Burrell, to your point earlier in the conversation about people who are innocent. Maayan Burrell was released from jail, I think about a year and a half ago, after sitting in jail for more than a decade. He was arrested as a teen and later found out that he was innocent. And so to move in this direction and not acknowledge that you have innocent projects in each and every state across this nation who are actively advocating for people who are in jail and are innocent.
That's right.
You know, this is not reform. This is not reform by any means. Reform would be investigating all of these people who were incarcerated, especially those can you imagine spending 10, 20, some people 30 years in prison for something you did not do. And instead of figuring out a way to make it easier to get people who are innocent out, we're sitting here trying to make it harder for people who may not even be convicted yet to get out.
Sister Georgia, the best way I can put it is if the world seems upside down, then perhaps we need to reevaluate how we're looking at this world that we're in, because perhaps instead of us thinking that we can save and salvage this system that we were merely survivors of, we need to realize that this system is not for us. And unless we're able to change it from the molecular level, we're going to always be fighting against a system that was designed to harm us.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, that's all we have time for this morning, but stick around for more on The Benjamin Dixon Show.
Light it up. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, y'all. You sound like a dying dog back there. Everything okay? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, Ben, that's what we call it now. We start playing. Y'all being in the background singing. One day, Dwayne gonna turn the mic on now. We gonna do that. That's the boss. We gonna do that.
I'm in line with the stars. I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides. Like even when I die, I'm a ride for the squad.
Mimosa Dragon. Good morning, Rachel Letney. Good morning, y'all.
We can't get any higher.
All right, y'all. It's time for the time. It's time for my brother from another mother to come on the screen. Y'all give a shout out to my man, my brother from another mother, Benjamin Dixon. Good morning, y'all.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, September 14, 2021, and I am joined on the screen by none other than DJ Exclusive. Brother James Williams, how you doing, man?
I'm good, sir. How about yourself? Brother James Williams, how you doing? I'm good, Ben. How about you?
I feel like you know, I got to bring you a cake. Hey, get down, brother James Bubba Williams, okay. DJ Exclusive. Ow, we can do it.
Get up.
Get on up. It's your bad self.
Right.
We have the responsibility of breaking the news to you without breaking you. Therefore, we do embrace fully the ethic and the ethos of the dad joke. Because after I get done battling with these wickedness in high places, James, I got to go out here and do some yard work with the kids. So,
sounds fun.
It is. My daughter's out there with the saw, and she's just taking it on. Like, she's like, outside is where she wants to be. So that way you keep me level headed and keep me from like saying something on air that is going to take me off the deep end. So I'm looking forward to the dad jokes today. So that's it.
You know, I got you. I got some new ones too. So,
and I've got some clips as always. Let's start with James. I see in my head, I'm working on some science fiction stuff. Shout out to all the Doctor Who fans in the audience. Got my little Doctor Who cufflinks here. Working on some science fiction. And one of the science fiction things I see in my head is like this valley. Let's just to expedite the conversation. It's the valley of the shadow of death. And at the top of it, I see this monstrous mountain of propaganda. And at the height of the mountain of propaganda is none other than Fox News. And the apotheosis of propaganda in this lifetime is none other than Tucker Carlson. Take a listen to this clip as he discusses the first clip I want to play and I want to make sure we got the right one is of him admitting that he lies. And he makes it kind of sound like, oh, well, yeah, of course I lie. Everybody lies. James, I've been doing this particular work for 6 years and not once have I lied. Now, if I got something wrong, I'd be glad to correct it. And I know you're the same type of person. But right. To get on here and just say, oh, yeah, no, casually like, oh, yeah, of course I lie. Everybody lies. Yeah. Look at who's at the top of Propaganda Mountain, Tucker Carlson. Let's run that clip.
When you have to cover some idiotic thing that Stelter said or Cuomo, just these clown people, when you have to cover it, right, or Don Lemon, as you call him, like how do you think they live with themselves at this point when they just lie again and again? And we have the internet to expose the lies. If this isn't 20 years ago when you were on CNN and we couldn't expose things. We can expose it now and they still do it.
I mean, I lie. If I'm really cornered or something, I lie. I really try not to. I try never to lie on TV. I just don't, I don't like lying. I certainly do it, out of weakness or whatever. But to systematically lie like that without asking yourself, like, why am I doing this?
James, now, notwithstanding any problematic areas for people in general, because this is not to say that none of us have ever lied in our lifetimes. Right. But brother, have you in your time doing your work, this work with us, just lied and then so casually say, of course I lied, like it's no big deal?
No. It's like, why? This is like admitting that. I mean, yeah, it's okay to tell a low white lie, like you said, every now and again, but doing this work, no. You know why, Ben?
What's that?
Because people are going to do their research and go find out the truth. So, hey, it's best to be transparent and clear at all times. There's no reason to lie, especially doing this line of work. You're lying to make yourself appear better than what you really are.
That's right. That's right. And here's the thing that blows me away about this clip is the other guy, his name is Dave Rubin. Not the brightest tool in the shed, to say the least, but clearly he confidently sets up this false premise that that it's us that's lying. Those of us who are fighting for justice, those of us who are fighting for Black lives, those of us who are fighting for equality and more perfect union. He's saying that we're lying. Dwayne, cue that back up. And I just want to hear the question as posed by Dave Rubin.
When you have to cover some idiotic thing that Stelter said or Cuomo, just these clown people, when you have to cover it, right, or Don Lemon, as you call him, like how do you think they live with themselves at this point when they just lie again and again? And we have the internet to expose the lies. Right. If this isn't 20 years ago when you were on CNN.
He's trying to make it seem like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe these liberals and these progressives are lying and we could just go back and check the end. No. Here's the thing, James. Truth is truth, right? And I don't care how much conservatives convince themselves that they're on the right side of history. They are dead wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then for him to say, we have the internet to expose a lie. Hey, I want y'all to know that this goes for y'all too. Tucker, especially you, brother.
Especially. And it's very easy to find, man. It's very easy to find like the lies. Here's one of Tucker Carlson's lies where he's talking about the decision of Roe versus Wade. We've been covering everything that's happening out of Texas. Here he is lying about the decision of Roe v. Wade by the Supreme Court when it was originally brought down. Take a listen.
Last night, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled on a new abortion law in the state of Texas. That decision came down, by the way, 5-4. That's the exact split that decided Roe v. Wade almost 50 years ago. So it's good enough to have meaning. This time, the court upheld a Texas law that effectively bans abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected. Typically, that's about 6 weeks into a pregnancy. There he is lecturing us about Roe v. Wade, the sacred 5-4 ruling that invented the right to abortion out of nothing.
The first part is the part, man. He said it was a 5-4 decision by the Supreme Court in the Texas case. And oh, by the way, here's the lie. Roe versus Wade was a 5-4 decision. And so what he's trying to do is like, if Roe versus Wade was decided with a controversial split of 5-4, then just like this decision in Texas was decided 5-4, then surely this decision in Texas, or this decision by the Supreme Court as it pertains to the Texas heartbeat law, surely it's okay. Here's the problem, Tucker. We do have the internet, and we can easily Google what the decision was. It was 7-2, not 5-4. 7 justices on the Supreme Court voted in favor of the decision of Roe versus Wade that ultimately hinged on a woman's right to privacy to make these decisions with their doctor, the Fourth Amendment, all that stuff. The point is Tucker Carlson is lying. And he admitted as much. And it reminds me, James, of the clip we played of Rand Paul when he admitted in front of that audience at the Benjamin Rush Society. He admitted that he uses propaganda, that he uses misinformation to get a strategic advantage. So I think people really need to take into consideration that when people tell you who they are, believe them, because at the top of propaganda mountain is not only Fox News, but it's Tucker Carlson, who just admitted to you that in the course of doing his business, he lies to you, America. That said, I want to go to our daily dose of evangelicals. This is something that I want us to focus on a regular basis. We get a lot of clips from Right Wing Watch. They're doing the due diligence of monitoring all of the evangelical pastors across the country that are spreading the message of bigotry, of the big lie, the message and the gospel of Donald Trump. And in most cases, the message of anti-Semitism and any other ism that you can conjure up, we're going to find a malignant cancer of it present at the evangelical camp meetings. Here's a first clip of QAnoner and Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, as she declares that Christians must rise up and remove ungodly leaders from power and replace them with a, quote, righteous men and women of God who realize that the government should be taking orders from the church. Take a listen in.
You have the Lord God Almighty on your side. I need you to use your voice and speak. What if Jesus showed up today and said, from this point forward, everything you say, you will have it? He said it. That's exactly what he said to us. So what are we saying? Are we going to sit and agree with the enemy? Are we going to agree with what the enemy is doing? Are we going to sit back and complain and murmur? Are we going to speak life into this nation? Are we going to declare that God removes these unrighteous politicians, these corrupt, crooked politicians, and installs righteous men and women of God? It's time the church speaks up. The church has relinquished too much authority to government. We should not be taking orders by the government, from the government. The government needs to be looking at the church and saying, how do we do this effectively?
Well, James, yeah, there you go, man. We got to make sure that we follow the religion of whatever. And we could really quickly, easily identify the difference between what the Jesus that she's preaching about and the black Jesus that I know you and I we serve. But isn't it funny that this congresswoman, this is a U.S. congresswoman who is also a QAnon conspiracy theorist, who is also an adherent of the big lie that she still believes that Donald Trump didn't lose the election. And here she is inside of this evangelical church preaching the gospel of Donald Trump and the gospel of white supremacy.
And did she say that it's time to get these crooked politicians out? Girl, you one of them. How? Why you getting yourself out of there then? What is... I'm sorry, y'all, because this lady...
It's the absurdity of it all, right?
Oh, what's the name? Looking like she ran for president.
Oh, Sarah Palin looking at
Palin.
And she got the Paula White. She looked like Sarah Palin with the energy of Paula White. You know what
Yes.
I mean? And that should tell you everything. In a minute, she's going to start calling for African angels. African angels from the east and the west. Oh, man, these people bring me joy in a very sadistic kind of way because it's kind of like staring at a train wreck.
Yes, man. At least the hair looked somewhat decent.
Yeah. It's laid. Here she is with part 2. Lauren B.
Oh man,
is what we're going to call her. Lauren B. said God spoke to her and called her to run for Congress. She said, "Yes, God, I'll do it. I'm not concerned about my education and the fact that I have a GED. Shout out to everyone with the GED. It didn't matter that I wasn't qualified in the world's eyes because God qualifies those who He calls. Who, Lord? Let's run the clip."
So when God said that to me, I said, man, maybe I'm not using the gifts and callings that God has given me appropriate all the time. But to hear God say He created me that way for His purpose, I had to answer the call. I had to say, yes, God, I'll do it. I'm not concerned about my education and the fact that I have a GED. Actually, I didn't even have it then. I got it later. It didn't matter that I didn't have the money or the political influence. It didn't matter that I wasn't qualified in the world's eyes because God qualifies those whom He calls. He justifies us. He equips us. And He gives us the tools that we need to walk out His calling. He's not going to call you to something and then say, go ahead and figure this out. He's going to lead and guide you every step of the way.
James, actually, I want to get Rebecca's input on this one because this is slick.
Yeah.
What she's doing here is really slick because she's saying all the stuff that everybody who's remotely, like, she's almost doing the Joel Osteen. God loves you and I love you too. And you just keep encouraged and doesn't matter your education. It doesn't. It doesn't matter your education. Shout out to everyone who broke free from the system and decided to get their GED. Solidarity. But you know what? Our complaint with you, Lauren B., is not that you have a GED. Our complaint with you is that you have suspended with all reason and logic, and you are on the wrong side of the moral arc of the universe. James, let me stop, man. Go. They wild, bro.
You stupid pimp, but right. Kevzy in the chat said, Jesus, stay getting lied on.
Why y'all lying on Jesus? Jesus can't even stand y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I had a conversation with the Lord earlier today. And Black Jesus told me to tell y'all that he ain't with this. He ain't with this. Hang on, I forgot what show we're on. We're on the wrong.
Exactly. Right.
Show. We got to catch us at the after party. But he ain't playing around with this, man. I wonder if these people really thought that they would be able to get up here and say all these. See, here's the problem for them, James. We read the same Bible. And we read and we understand the narratives that they're talking about. And we understand if we properly can. Something Malcolm X taught me through one of his videos, obviously. Malcolm X said that we need to, as Black people, understand our position in our family, our society, our planet, and our universe, right? If we actually take the time to do that and we apply the same Bible that she's talking about, that she's acting like she represents, we'll understand something's fundamentally true in this rhetorical kind of comparison. Lauren and evangelicals, you all are not the children of Israel in the narrative of Moses and Pharaoh. Y'all are Pharaoh.
Ben, you said a word right there, brother. Y'all are Pharaoh. Realize
y'all
that.
got that shout music from last. You got that shout music from yesterday,
Dwayne. Hey, let's get it.
I'm just saying. Like, they out here. See, when you are convinced that you are the oppressed, you will march up the steps of the Capitol and believe that you. Oh, James, I see you moving. Hey, stop it, man. Come on, man. It's too early. We got to say that for the after party.
God called me, even though I didn't have the experience. God said I had it. That's what she wanted to say. That's what she wanted to do. But no, I failed, sis. I'm sorry.
Ooh. Now, for the icing on the cake, for my next trick. Shout out to the Ninth Doctor. For my next trick, Tucker Carlson Because what they're really preaching, I want y'all to be sure, what's so malevolent and insidious, that's the word. What's so insidious about what Lauren B. did here is that she presents this nice and gentle version of their very belligerent white supremacist Jesus. And she says like, oh, well, it's just God just wants to use you no matter your education. The sum total of what they preach always inevitably leads back to Propaganda Mountain in the form of Tucker Carlson. Listen to him as he sets this argument around critical race theory opposed to a particular situation. And he basically says, why don't we just do away with everything and just do woke culture? Listen to him break this down.
The perversion, the intellectual perversion, the darkness, increasing tribalism. It's like literally the worst thing you could do in a country like ours. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking we should just shut it down and turn it into a shelter for MS-13 baby mamas or something. Like find something useful, or a homeless shelter. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like this is actively trying to wreck the country.
Well, I think it is. If left unchecked by the market, it will wreck the country. I think that what I'm encouraged by is so many parents looking for alternatives, challenging their school boards. This isn't just happening in private schools, it's happening in public school systems, which are far more numerous than these very rarefied little greenhouses. For parents, there really is no marketplace, and I wanted to make that point, is that there's essentially one very good reporter in a piece recently described it as a cartel.
Totally a cartel.
And it's a cartel of ideas and a sort of moral imperatives that are run through consultancies.
Now, just so you understand, their level of concern is over a high school that they're saying should be shut down and turned over to the boogeyman from Mexico, the Mexican boogeyman, which is MS-13, right? Which is a dog whistle, just like, single mamas is a dog whistle. It's just the same thing they do with people from Mexico. They're saying shut down this American high school and turn it into a homeless shelter for baby mamas of MS-13 because this high school had the nerve to do something remotely analogous to critical race theory. James, DJ Exclusive, I lie not to you. This is how far they go. Just because of the possibility that we could teach history the way it should be taught.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. Then that's all I got to say about that, because that's just the levels that they'll go to just to stop that.
Yeah. They've declared war.
It says a lot.
They've declared war, and they control all of the propaganda channels. Let's be clear. They control YouTube. They control Twitch. They control Fox. They control the cable, internet. They're in power, and they understand the power of the narrative of the people who are actually oppressed. The people who marched up the steps of the Capitol on January 6th, the reason their behinds are in jail now, most of them, or some of them rather, is because y'all didn't have an actual grievance, you morons. You got it made in America, white Christian men, especially white Christian straight men. You get whatever you want. And y'all ignorant behinds decided that you were so aggrieved in this country that you had to storm the gates of your own empire, you barbarians. James, take us to break, man. When we come back, Rebecca Zor's going to bring me out of the stratosphere. Like it or not, we're going to talk about the VMAs. We're going to talk about Nicki Minaj and her. Did you see Nicki Minaj's tweet yesterday about the vaccine?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Let's just say she had the testicular fortitude to get on the internet, on Cardi B's internet, and say something about the vaccine, and it did not go well. All of that and more, like it or not, coming up after we turn it over to DJ Exclusive, the Minister of Music of the Benjamin Dixon Show.
And you petty because you know Cardi B and Nicki Minaj be beefing. And you talk about on Cardi B internet really being you so petty. Good morning again, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting up next with our sister Rebecca Azor. Make sure you stay tuned. Hey, so the World Health Organization announced that dogs cannot contract COVID-19, right? Like, so dogs previously held in quarantine can now be released. So, to be clear, who let the dogs out?
James. Thank you. Who? Speaking of jokes, I just want to introduce this audience as you get ready for Like It or Not to the coming joke in the next segment. Like it or not, there's a big joke that we have to discuss in the form of Larry Elder. Listen to this clip of the man who thinks he should be governor of California. Listen it.
When I said to this man that I was a libertarian, he said, I had the libertarian candidate for vice governor of New York on my show. And I asked him, when you were in the Senate in the mid-'60s, would you have voted in favor or against the civil rights legislation of 1964? And this man said he would have voted against it. So I'm asking you, Larry Elder, what would you have done? To the extent that those laws mandate any kind of interference in the private sector, yes, I would have voted against it. I, like a lot of people, are very upset that there is even something called the Americans with Disabilities Act.
That's enough.
I believe that the private sector should be governed by
As you can hear, this is a black man who said he would oppose the Voting Rights and the Civil Rights Act. We're going to talk about it when we come back. Like it or not, it's coming up. DJ Exclusive, it's your world.
This man, cray. What the Uncle Tom is going on here? Make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Like it or not, it's starting up next, man. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Lipsha, good morning, Lipsha. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the stream. My brother from another mother, Benjamin Dixon.
All right. James, I'm not going to be, you're not here tomorrow. I have to fill in. I said I'm going to call myself DJ BPD, but I know already that mix that you just did coming from that first song to the second song, nobody should expect me to do anything of the sort like that tomorrow. I'm just going to be running tracks. That's all I'm going to be doing.
Oh, come on, Ben.
It's just going to be random songs just being played.
Y'all not going to know if we're going to be in the disco or in the jig joint. It's just going to be a mess, but that was a hell of a mix, man. Listen, before we go to like
random funk song,
you let me, I'll put on some. You got to be, you have to have been here a little while to get that one. I digress. Listen. Right.
Hey, Dwayne done added it to his little bank library, so I know he got a button that he just pressed, and that's it.
Yeah, I just switched to a different page in my video bin, and it's right there. But I was working on putting it over the shout music, and it just didn't come out the way I wanted it to. So stay tuned.
Okay,
it's coming.
Okay. I'm gonna have to we might have to get in the mix on that because we could chop and screw it and put it on top of the chop music. But that said, talking about white jokes.
Damn,
my
man.
God, today. Larry Elder. I got a clip of this brother. Who is himself a reaction to white supremacy? Like, I see you, brother. You're dead wrong, but you know what I mean? You are not, some creature that is outside the influence of this system. You are a reaction, the wrong reaction. But here he is defending this theory of white replacement theory. And he even goes as far as defending George Zimmerman, the murderer of Trayvon, our beloved brother, Trayvon Martin. Let's take a listen to it.
The Democratic Party has lost the white vote since 1964.
Unless the Democratic Party is successful in convincing people like you to tax, spend, and regulate, they need to bring in people who do want to tax, spend, and regulate, and these are people from third world countries. And it has gradually changed the nature of this country to the point where we have almost a 50-50 nation. And if we bring in millions of more people from third world countries who have the kinds of views I'm talking about, who don't have any understanding of the concept of federalism, any understanding of the concept of differences between church and state, no understanding of the concept of limited government, we're going to have more and more Democrats. And that's what they're doing. They are minting Democrats. I would rather have a George Zimmerman living in my neighborhood, and maybe if George Zimmerman were living in my neighborhood, we'd have fewer Ariel Castros.
Answer my
George
question.
Zimmerman like he's some sort of criminal. He's not a criminal. He's
George
a guy
Zimmerman
who cares about his neighborhood.
shot dead an unarmed
cares
teenager.
About his neighborhood. He's a neighborhood watch guy. Don't you want people who are proactive? And there was crime in that neighborhood, Pierce. I live in South Central.
There wasn't crime from Trayvon Martin in that neighborhood.
Not on there. It'd be nice to have had a George Zimmerman in Cleveland and maybe Ariel.
I don't want George Zimmerman doing my neighborhood watch patrol. No, I don't.
10 years.
I don't. I've got 3 teenage sons, Larry. I don't feel comfortable having somebody like George Zimmerman marching around as wannabe vigilante, armed with a gun.
What's the guy's name from Django Unchained?
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, his character, man, Master Sick, boss. You know, Master Sick, we sick. You know, Master tired, we tired. You know, Master frustrated, Larry Elder is frustrated. And he doesn't understand why black people can't understand why we need more George Zimmerman's DJ Exclusive. And he wants to be the governor of California.
And then you know it's something when Pierce Morgan is going against him.
Pierce Morgan of all people.
Pierce Morgan of all people making sense. It's like, damn. That's why it's like...
You know you're on the next level of the La Quinta Hotel.
Come on, La Quinta.
Carl Mack. When Pierce Morgan has to defend blackness. Come on, man.
That's crazy.
I don't know for the life of me, James, why. Here's a photo. I want to bring him up. Larry Elder. We cover this next guy he's in the photo with. The next guy you'll see the photo of is Tony Moon and Larry Elder. Now, this was this week. Tony Moon, we covered him on our show with Tina Desiree. He is a Proud Boy who has been actively participating in brutal assaults across there. They are a gang that travels the country assaulting people in the name of white supremacy. And here Larry Elder is proudly taking a photo with yet another person of color who's proud to be the face of white supremacy.
Of course.
What's wrong with these folks, man?
Sounds about
anyway,
right.
And it doesn't matter what color you are. What matters is the operating system you're operating from, and they are definitely updated with the latest edition of White Supremacy 10.0. That said, Dwayne, David, DJ Exclusive, what do y'all think? Run that intro? I'm only going to let do because James, you have to do it properly. I can't do it.
She was late. I'm going to roll the intro. It's about to go down. Roll the damn intro, Dwayne.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
So, James, you're holding the whole stream hostage?
Oh, sorry, Dwayne.
We had our wires crossed. But go ahead and say go ahead and say it anyway. We're here.
Good morning. Good morning,
and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
No, I'm here. Why am I not on air?
If you was on time, you'd have been on air where you was supposed
But that was enough time to put me on air.
No, it wasn't.
That was like,
hey, Bubba, keep talking for me for a second.
So then what had happened is filibuster. We're filibustering. So cool. When Bubba filibuster, so this what happens.
But you got to tell why.
We guess we'll be making only inside now on.
James, I just want you to understand. I see that you now know you have the power to hold the whole stream hostage when we say to roll the intro, and you just like.
I do. I love it. It's like so much power. With great power comes great responsibility.
Don't let that power go to your head.
All I'm going to say is I need Rebecca Azor to understand that this is what happens when we must filibuster. Queen Azor, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. Aside from getting cussed out from all of y'all this morning. Listen.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, good morning. So I see that you guys be trying to filibuster, and sometimes the filibustering is cute, and sometimes it's really not. But I'm here this morning. So welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. Yesterday, you guys were saying that there was a story to tell, and I always have a story to tell.
See?
So yesterday, because I wasn't here because my car, my tire went flat on the highway. And it was the most scariest thing ever. I guess I ran over something and my baby just went from tire pressure of 50 to 10. And I thought it was in the back. So I thought, okay, it's fine. It's in the back. You can always control the two front tires and get yourself over. But it was the front left tire. So it was so stressful because I had talked to Ben earlier that morning and I was like, Ben, you should maybe take a walk by the mountain with your kids. It looks pretty racist out there this morning, but
the Stone Mountain, which looks pretty racist every morning, but I digress.
It wasn't Stone, it was Kennesaw, and Kennesaw is just
Kennesaw.
Racist.
Okay.
Kennesaw Mountain. They had like a whole field of American flags on Sunday, and it was for a memorial for 9/11 victims. Now they covered the whole thing, and I had sent Ben the video like, oh, what a great day. Ben, take the kids out. It's so great. It's so beautiful. And then my sister was like, let's go to brunch. And I was like, no. She's like, yes. I'm like, no. She's like, yes. Took her to brunch. And then she's like, I want to go to your place because I want to see how you decorated it, because I usually decorate my place every season. Dollar Tree, guys. Dollar Tree is the best. But I usually decorate my place every season. So she was like, I want to see what you did. So on the way there, I turned on my music, and then I just saw everybody going over something. But I'm like, oh, it's small, Then I went over it, and then that's what my car sounded like. And it was
you thought it was a rattling in the car, didn't you?
It was so scary. I had to cross over, in Atlanta, I had to cross over 3-4 lanes. And they was going so fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get over. Finally get over to the shoulder. Then I had to get a little bit more to the edge. But
that was you, Rebecca? I just kept on driving. No, I'm joking.
And, I always, you know what I said? I said, did anybody pray for me? Because every time I see somebody on the side of the road, I'm like, I don't know if that person's crazy, but Jesus, get them help soon. I was like, I was that person on the side of the road.
But you gotta describe how your hubcap disintegrated, because that was one of the funny.
They were going so fast. So on my little Jeep, I got these hubcaps on there. They come off, so they're black. They're shoes, right? So this one done can't, because I was on the ground. I didn't even know I was on the ground. And so the hubcap flies into the middle of the street. You guys, I was about to go get it. And my sister was like, don't you dare. And I was like, I just need to get it because that was expensive. And y'all, before I could look over, them cars was doing 150 over that thing. And after I looked again, there was nowhere to be found. Those cars disintegrated my little cap. Thank God I didn't go into the middle of the street.
I can just see Rebecca silly behind, try to run out there in her heels and her stilettos. Right, man. I got you. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh.
You guys, the worst part about it was I was supposed to be in heels and stilettos, but I was in 2 Sealy braids and Scully. I was in workout clothes and it was a fool.
You was dressed to go get that hubcap.
Yeah,
she was.
Wait a minute. Notwithstanding the fact that you said that you went to brunch like that, Queen.
because I had just came from running, and my sister was like, "I feel like."
Okay. Well, that's a different thing.
Yeah. But I was now. Don't get it twisted. The running outfit was cute, but
that's what we were waiting for. I was waiting.
But I was looking crazy on the side of the road. They were literally. The cars were going so fast. The insurance people were supposed to come. Then they said, we're canceling because you didn't have a spare tire in your car. And I was like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know. Like, I just didn't know. So they canceled. I was there for another 2 hours. Finally, a man who sounded like he was strong and black, he was like, yeah, I'm going to come out there and come get you. It's just going to be about 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, gosh. But he came quicker than that. The Uber driver who had to pick us up on the side, he was like, he texted us in the Uber app, this is going to be a lot, but I'm going to still come get y'all. Like, dang.
Damn. Wait a minute.
Then the man, you guys, I get to my place.
Because they had to pick you up on the side of the highway.
On the side of the highway. I had to get to my place. And I did not have the key. I did not have the key.
Rebecca.
James, you hear? So this is why she wasn't here yesterday, James.
I didn't have a car.
That's a lot.
I couldn't get into my place. So
and then now your car missing one of his Lee press-on nails.
Oh man.
Yes, it is.
I saw that comment.
Yeah, I saw it, Dwayne. You know I did.
That's exactly what it was. It's like a press-on nail. It's missing that now. But don't worry. I've already put in the order to have it replaced. So
at least you can have it replaced, because most people, child, they'll just leave that one off and just be riding around with 3 feet on. Thank you. Don't do it. Don't do it, because I saw talk about you.
Well, listen.
I can't do it.
So because Rebecca Azor wasn't here yesterday, we didn't give our review of the VMAs and all the other things that are happening in the cultural scene that are particularly salient to the political conversation at a higher level. But Rebecca, before we do that, what are you watching?
So VMAs were so Sunday. You guys didn't do what you were supposed to do on Monday because I wasn't here, so you guys didn't cover it. Now, today,
we covered Lil Nas. Oh yeah.
Now it's our fault. It's our fault. It's our fault.
What happened yesterday was more so very interesting at the Met Gala. The Met Gala, it's an invite only, $30,000 tickets. It's the Met Museum or whatever that does this big show, and it's like. Everybody waits for Rihanna to come out. Everybody waits for people like Tracy Ellis Ross. And yesterday was, I think, America Lexicon of Fashion. That was the theme. America wasn't doing anything that they needed to do last night, I will say. It was a lot of out of the country brands of last night that were like showing off, like Dior, like Versace, those brands were being shown off. But the political part of last night was AOC, who came out in a white number and with Tax the Rich on the dress. So people were getting upset online. Love the message. I think I've seen something like this before at some award shows. People have made their political statements through their dress. Some people's statements were a little bit more radical being really radically right being kind of white supremacy, maybe not what kind of white supremacy, being really racist on the red carpet. But here she is saying tax the rich in what looks like a wedding dress, but it's a really nice dress, I should say. But it wasn't only her that made this. What do you want me to do?
I'm a fan of AOC. I'm a fan of the messaging, tax the rich.
It's $30,000 tickets, but
I'm sure she didn't. Yeah, I'm sure she didn't buy a ticket.
I feel like she didn't pay, but everybody had an issue with her being there because the tickets were $30,000. This is not the first time that people have had an issue, and you can put those tweets up. But it's not the first time that people have had an issue with her wearing something or going to an event. Not that one. And
oh yeah, no, not that one. What you see on the screen now is coming up soon. Right. These photos.
This isn't the first time that people have had an issue with AOC coming to an event, putting, or putting on clothes or being an event. We have to remember that AOC is a part of the younger generation. And sometimes it gets in the political world, even the older generation, though, may get a little too TikTok-y on social media. But I think if we are going to represent ourselves in an American way, because this was supposed to be the Met Gala. It was supposed to be like an American fashion thing.
Yeah.
I think AOC kind of captured that with bringing the American politics to it. It wasn't only her, it was Carolyn Maloney, who was an older congresswoman. And she came out with her little dress, her little number that was talking about equal rights for women and draped down. She looked good. So there was representation of politics there. Somebody tweeted out she showed up to a party she got invited to wearing a loaner from a Black-owned small business. Is that not? It's not that complicated, Karen. That's because somebody was tweeting out, which I can't see. It's so small, but it looks like Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez attending. Oh, this is what I was just talking about. The $35,000 ticket Met Gala in a Brother Velas gown, blaring "Tax the Rich." It is a complicated proposition. It really isn't that complicated. If you're invited to something,
Rebecca, we gotta get you glasses. That's small for you.
It's very small.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I wear glasses. I don't know where they at. They lost.
Right. And I'm dropping a few pictures as well, too, in the Slack from some of our more prominent people that had some good stuff on last night.
They're trying to make it. They're trying to make a hypocrisy for her to attend this event, right? Which she ain't by. She has a congresswoman's salary, and while it's a lot more than most people make, it is not enough for her to spend $35,000 on a ticket. I guarantee you, she didn't.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though.
Right.
If I was invited,
but that's
somewhere,
the hypocrisy that they're trying to.
I'm gonna
exploit,
go,
but it's not. It's no controversy.
Yeah, there's no controversy, but people will create the controversy always and forever. The only controversy were some of the outfits did not do what they needed to do last night. It's a Met Gala, my guy. Like, what were we doing? Where was the message and all of that? I feel like this was great. Like, this was cool. He did.
Yeah. Lil Nas did good. He slayed.
Lil Nas X.
Yeah, this was giving a little bit medieval. It was giving country. He did like country on one side, and then he gave like almost like some mystical comic book person.
Iron Man, some
a suit,
from the Power Rangers.
No,
he does.
Like
Goldar.
A golden Power Ranger.
Looks like Goldar from the Power Rangers.
Oh my gosh! Wait till you see this one.
Ooh, what's the next one? Lil Nas X for Goldar. I tell you.
Boosie was mad in the corner.
I was wondering.
Mad as hell.
Somewhere
Big man in the corner, like,
can't even get into the Met, hating outside the club. What else?
I can't wait for y'all to see this one. Naomi Osaka's was amazing.
Oh wow,
Naomi Osaka gave, I think, for her heritage. I think that she really that is not Naomi Osaka. That is Iman.
That's Iman. Iman did her thing though. Yeah.
Who is this?
That's Cara Delevingne. Peg the patriarchy. It looked real basic.
So we have more messages.
Wait.
That was an American. That was an American look.
She said, "What the patriarchy?"
Peg the patriarchy.
That is a revolutionary solution. I think it might work. Go ahead.
Okay.
Next one, please.
There's Naomi
Osaka, Queen.
So we have to understand with the Met Gala, it's like an artistic museum. You're a walking work of art, and and again, I said it was like. It was supposed to be like American fashion. I don't know who created her look, but I do see her look being her, and it still gave like almost Mulan. It almost like something like that. It gave me something like very her heritage, showing her heritage. I would like to think the red and blue represents Haiti, but that's just me. Y'all know she is half Haitian. So, but I
could see it.
Yeah, she gave a look.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Was Nicki Minaj there last night?
Nicki Minaj wasn't there. There is a Nicki. Whoa, that was a tweet that you guys brought up. So let me tell you something, guys. The way that Nicki Minaj
talk about it.
I'm so messy, ain't I?
So there's so many. Okay, guys, here. This is great. Okay, so Nicki Minaj wasn't there last night. And I know you guys are wondering, what does this have to do with politics? It has a lot to do with politics because, we talk about on the show a lot of times that a lot of these stars use their platforms to have conversations about the vaccination that may not be beneficial, that may be hurtful to the cause. And so Joy Reid didn't read all of the tweets that Nicki Minaj did tweet out. It was in what she tweeted, and we can pull that up on the screen, that Nicki Minaj said that she wasn't going to be at the VMAs or any of the award shows coming up. And so she tweeted that she won't go
it's the one
because of COVID. So she said that she wouldn't go because of COVID. She said, I have an infant with no nannies during COVID. Who mad not risking his health to be seen? One yourself. She said, so then there was this whole thing coming out where people were saying that she said something that she didn't say. In reality, we like to take bits and parts of things and say that the person said this. And so Variety comes out and said that they want you to get vaccinated. They quoted her saying, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. Minaj wrote, it'll be once I feel I've done enough research, whatever. She says, I never said this. Glad all my tweets were left up on it. So she says, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with 2 strings that grips your head and face. Not that loose one, because we know we got that little one that's been holding on for 5 weeks. Let it go. It got makeup in it. Let it go.
Buy a new mask. The little dirty earmarks behind it.
In that mask. If you can still smell your breath in that mask, let the mask go. It's the time. But she gave a story and a reason why. She said, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine.
This is the one for me. I'm sorry.
So now we can really, I can't wait to elaborate on this because I am on Joy's side in some ways, but the way Nicki came back, I was like, just have a seat, Joy. But she said, my cousin in Trinidad, this is Nicki Minaj, she tweeted out, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend, stop acting like kids. Testicles is the word. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding because his testicles were swollen. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. And I agree. I don't want anybody getting bullied for whatever decision they do make. But if you are going, if you're not going to get vaccinated, you need to understand that it's going to be a little bit heavier for you. That's why she did not go to the Met Gala or the VMAs. Okay. Okay. So she says, babe, so somebody tweeted out to her, Nicki, the vaccine doesn't prevent getting COVID. It prevents you getting serious symptoms. Non-vaccinated people are
11. Yeah, this is small print.
11 times more likely to pass away from COVID.
Y'all give her the grandma version of the Bible with the large print going forward. Producers, go ahead.
So Nicki wrote back, babe, that's not true. I had the exact same symptoms as people with the damn vaccine. That's where it becomes unhelpful. But if this is your experience,
the whole thing is unhelpful.
If this is your experience and this is your truth, why? I would never tell somebody not to share their experience or their truth. Now, these tweets are cool and all. We're the ones with Joy Reid because I want you guys to see what happened.
Rebecca, I hear what you're setting up, and I'm not going to doubt what you're about to conclude on, and I might come to your side of the equation. But sis, her story about her cousin in Trinidad getting inflamed testicles from come on, that is not a symptom of the vaccine. That is a symptom of an STD.
Now, I wouldn't say it's a symptom of the STD. I don't know. But I will say that story was one of many stories that she was saying, because people were saying, hey, that may not happen. This, may not happen this. And she was writing back, okay, I understand. So there were more tweets than just what we see here, right? She actually was saying that, I'm going to have to get vaccinated eventually. She was like, if you guys have jobs that are requiring you to get vaccinated, please get vaccinated. That's your way of making money, things like that. There were other conversations that were being had. And a lot of people were saying, trying to school her, hey, I'm vaccinated. And I didn't get any of the symptoms. I can speak for somebody who has gotten COVID and didn't get any of the symptoms. And she was having actual conversations and listening. So the conversation did further from those tweets. It started a conversation with her fans and things like that. Now, when it came to Joy Reid, I think it's because Joy Reid is part of the media, and it was a straight shooter. It was easy for her to get to that because a lot of people were taking her words, and I don't think taking her words and misconstruing them, but you know how we do. We'll take what sounds hot and make it clickbaity and or clickable, I should say. And so she did that. She went and saw that, got upset when Joy Reid stated that she was not pleased.
Do we have that Joy Reid clip? Because it went, I guess it went viral yesterday. The one, because it was a fast response. She got back to.
It was more tweets I saw.
She went after Nicki Minaj on air like within 30 minutes of Nicki sending that tweet. So her response was like knee jerk and pretty quick. So that might, agree with
Nikki's
what you're saying.
response was 2.5 seconds after she posted up. She posted up Joy Reid after Joy Reid stated on her show, and that she wasn't pleased with what Nikki said. It's problematic, and it's a disservice when you use your platform. And I say this all the time on the show, so I can agree with that 100% when you are against the vaccine. But Nikki's saying that she's scared to get the vaccine because of what she's heard. So there are rumors that she may be believing. There are things that she's believing. There are things that people have told her where she's believing. So she's basically scared of COVID and of the vaccine. But she said, I'm eventually going to get vaccinated. She said that she had COVID and she couldn't even get to her child. She shared that story. But she also posted up that Joy Reid stated that she wouldn't believe the CDC about any vaccine. And that was sometime, I think, last year.
She pulled a this you?
So she reposted that and said, but didn't you say this about the CDC and a vaccine that they were putting out? And you were saying that was in Trump's America, that she would never believe, or something like that she wrote. So it was in that era when Trump was president. And then right after, there was an accusation of her having anti-LGBTQIA plus tweets.
Oh, well, that's from years ago.
I remember that. So what happened? She was like, but what Nikki was trying to say was, I can do the same thing that you guys are doing to me. Take things, misconstrue them, and give half truths. I didn't say all of this. I said this and this and this after. So I think it would have been good, though, if Joy Reid did have those other tweets available. And I don't want anybody bullying each other. Now, when I can actually see that you're using your platform, and some people, like I can see that she's afraid of this, the vaccine. I can see that she's taking conseil, how do you say that in English? She's taking advice from people, especially in other countries, right? And I can't say
it's like Trinidad.
It's like me taking advice from people in Haiti about COVID-19. I mean, they're okay. Like they're okay. But for me living in America, I'm sorry. No. I cannot.
I guess Rebecca, what you got to help me with, and let me know when y'all have that clip of Joy Ann Reid, and make sure we have just that portion where she went after Nicki Minaj. I guess the thing that I'm having an issue with,
she didn't go after Nicki. I should say I wouldn't say it was an attack. It was just saying, hey, I love you. I mean it. Don't use your platform to possibly tell people not to get the vaccine.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's my thing. Like, I'm no longer concerned about the feelings of people who are still doing their research. Sorry, folks. The research has been out. What research are you waiting on?
I agree with that.
The research is conclusive. Right? You have, if I think it's 1 in 61 chance of dying of COVID-19 if you catch COVID-19. If you get the vaccine, it's like 1 in 83,000 chances of you dying. I'm going from memory off of a video that I saw from this scientist. And my thing is like, people are using do the research as an excuse because they haven't done the research. No, my man, we did the research. Sis, you do the research, and the research should not include speculations on the internet when you got millions of followers saying that, like, oh, my cousin and them over in Trinidad got this kind of inflammation. You know what the real impotence come from? COVID-19 makes men impotent. Okay. One of the side effects, if you want to talk about impotency, talk about the side effect. But if she actually done the research, and here's the thing, Rebecca, the damage that is done with the misinformation, even if it led to a conversation, I'm like, yeah, I appreciate the conversation, but how many people already listen to her and think that they now their testicles are going to get inflamed by taking the vaccine?
But
go ahead.
You got to look at it different. You got to look at it as, because me and Onika share the same birthday. So I see where she's coming from. You have to look at it as research is like, let's be real, y'all. Black people don't look at the research of scientists all the time. We do, because we have more sense than that. But a lot of the reasons why these black neighborhoods and a lot of people in the black communities are not taking this vaccine seriously, are doing it like they should, is because they're listening to the opinions and effects or whatever of other people that have already taken it, or getting information from all these other places and not professionals. Y'all just listening to somebody else. Oh, well, my cousin got it, and my cousin say her little testicles were her. So his left testicle swole up. So I'm not getting the vaccine because I'm scared. But no, you got to do your own research. But I do respect the fact that she did say she's not going around anybody. She's staying masked up, and she's not bringing anything around her kids. So I can respect that point that she's doing it that way. These other people out here, they saying no, wear no mask, don't do none of this stuff. You do whatever you want to do in XYZ. At least she has enough gall to say, stay masked up. I'm not going anywhere. I'm doing my part. I'm staying in the house. So I can give her props for that. But the part about her cousin, girl, you shouldn't have posted that, girl. That's just stupid.
Yeah, it's maybe that was her testimony. That was a story. But I agree with both of you guys. But then, I don't like the bullying on either side of the spectrum. I know that getting vaccinated is, to me, y'all remember me? Y'all remember me before I was vaccinated? I was like, I'm scared. Yeah. I have these pre-existing conditions. Let me talk to my doctor. That was my form of research. I had to do what works for me because we didn't have all the answers. All we knew was that this vaccine will save you from dying from COVID. But what are the side effects, right? Like, some people were saying they were getting really, really heavy periods, bad cramps, those kind of things. I wanted to know how it was going to affect me and what days I needed to take off work and all those kind of things. Like I was really, really afraid. So you got to do your research. I do believe in doing research. And I also do believe in while you're doing your research, do not encourage anybody to be out there in them streets either. Like I say this all the time. If you aren't going to get vaccinated, that's your business. I cannot go into a screaming match with you, but you need to stay your behind in the house. And stay masked up, stay away from people. Know that you can give this to somebody within 2 seconds. You are somebody who is a threat to society. Like, just know that, right? And I've seen so many people do the opposite of what she has done. And that's take the platform and tell people F the CDC, and tell people. And Joy Reid got a whole tweet that still says that out there in Beyonce's internet. But grace is given to people, right? We gave grace to her because she had to understand and she had to learn. For whatever reason, she tweeted that. I don't know. And I could have been in that same position while I'm having conversations with my folks, okay, my mama and daddy who did not want to get vaccinated. Are you listening to me? Who's talking about it's not going to get them. This is in the beginning of when this thing came out, and I'm over here listening to them. They like, don't you get vaccinated? You ain't gonna have no babies. You ain't gonna have this. You already know you got pre-existing conditions. You already know you got this. And it was scaring me. Then I had to tune them out, get myself together, understand that if I'm going to travel, if I'm going to be around people, I'm by myself here. If I were to get sick, it's just me. I had to put all those things into perspective for myself. And I had to say, okay, if I get sick and survive, that's a better opportunity for me. I do not want to get sick and lose half my lung. Like, I run. I don't want to stop being a runner because breathing issues related to COVID-19 because I wanted to go and, jump the bridge in my Jeep to try to get to somebody. We don't need to do that. So the messaging that she did, I think wasn't too it was harmful, but it wasn't too harmful because it led to a conversation, which helped her clarify what she was trying to say. That's her business. Okay. But do not tell anybody, COVID ain't real. Because she's saying she's let people know that COVID is real. She let people know that she wants to do her own research on the vaccine. I do agree with you, though, Ben. It's been a year. Right? It's been over a year. So a lot of the research is out there. But this is her time that she wants to take. This is the time that she wants to take to go ahead and research now. I'd rather her do her research, get vaccinated, and that's good. She told everybody. If it's for work,
do your research is becoming. Do your research is the same to me as when Jesus comes or when the revolution happens.
Now I can agree through. When is the revolution happening, child? When?
Occupy until he returns.
It's supposed to be Saturday, right? But look, though, it makes sense, though, because when I got the vaccine, I was the same way Rebecca was, because I was hearing from, even though I did my research, I'm still hearing from so many people that they got real sick. It seemed like they had COVID. It was like a lot of stuff that I was hearing. So I was scared as hell. And at one point, I'm like, man, I really think I'm going to wait to get this vaccine. But then I started seeing how worse things got. And I'm just like, I really have to get it now. And I just have to see what happens. But even if you still do your research, that vaccine is going to affect you. It affects everybody in a different type of way. I got sick as hell. when somebody else in the household got the vaccine, they didn't get sick at all. When I got both of my vaccines, I got sick as a dog. And then another thing to take into account,
I do want to. Let me ask you, James.
Was,
qualify
the
sick
Trinidad,
as a dog. But when you say sick as a dog, like I want because somebody else will hear that and they'll say, oh, he got like COVID sick. You didn't get COVID sick as a dog. You got like, what were your symptoms like?
COVID symptoms. Only thing I didn't have was a loss of smell and taste, but tiredness,
did you have a loss of breath?
A little bit, yes. Tired. It was really bad. Like I literally took the day off. But the next day, it was like nothing happened.
You get sick, but you know you're going to heal from it, right? And with it, mine lasted, the second shot, mine lasted about a week and a half. I don't know why, but some people's lasted 2 weeks. But like, you know, it's just different things. And, you know, like I've read people's experience. I love how people are documenting it. But at the end of the day, you know, once you come out of that, you are going to be highly protected from dying from COVID-19. You're still going to have your lungs.
And that's at the end of the day, I got a piece of research that I want everyone to do. If everyone is going to research and you're still waiting on doing research for the COVID, I got a name for you to Google. Kizzmekia Corbett. Kizzmekia Corbett. Kizzmekia, last name Corbett. She's a Black woman scientist who is one of the key developers of the vaccine. Look at her story. Look at where she comes from. Look at her roots and why she was on the front line of this. And she is one of the key players in the creation of the vaccine. Doesn't mean, and then of course somebody's going to say, well, Ben, just because she's a Black woman doesn't mean she can't be working for the man. And then that's when I'm going to say, at some point, we just got to stop with the absurdity, folks. We know this government is very capable of doing some pretty malevolent things. But I want to ask y'all the question. If the vaccine was so bad for Black people, why is America doing, I mean, the entire international community, they're keeping the vaccine from the global South. They're keeping it like we're having to fight tooth and nail to get the vaccine in Africa, right? Rebecca, you've covered the shortage of vaccines in Haiti. They're keeping it from Black folks. So to me, it suggests that they want it for themselves.
They want to sell the vaccine.
They want to sell it. That's what that is.
The vaccine. So listen, it's so funny because it's always going to be two sides. People saying this, people saying that. First, it's like, oh, it's free. The fact that the vaccine is free, you know, Black folks, the fact that the vaccine is free, it tells us what we need to know. It tells us why is it free? That we guinea pigs. And that's how I felt in the beginning. I'm like, hold on now. Wait a second. I feel like they're trying to drop them off somewhere. Then in reality, the truth was they weren't dropping it off in Black communities. They were making the places far for people to go get vaccinated at the time when it first came out. Then people didn't even know that it wasn't costly. It didn't cost anything. People didn't know that. People like who? Me, Rebecca Azor, on this show, on Like It or Not. I literally asked you guys because I didn't know. There was not enough information out there that let me know that the thing was free. Yeah. That the vaccine was free. Okay. So, you know, and at the time we only had this one system that was rinky dink that you would have to type in where you lived to find somewhere that was going to vaccinate you. So all of that, you know, people were all going to put all that and be like, that's a problem. They trying to use us as guinea pigs and all that. But then I started to look at it and say, I don't know if that's true. So, and then who were the ones getting vaccinated first? The rich. Rich. Okay. And so when you look at the countries, like when we covered India and what was going on there, remember, guys? And people were saying
over there.
There were no oxygen tanks. The oxygen tanks were so old that they were trying to use, and they were passing along the oxygen tanks in that line until, you know, just to get a breath, just to get a breather, because they were not able to breathe. We saw this with our own eyes. We did. And it made for good TV. It did for us to see it. But we were not offering them people help. We offered them the vaccine at a cost. At the time, offered them the vaccine at a cost. Something that wasn't even FDA approved yet. We were greedy America.
And to be sure, this is how ridiculous this country is. Like, while we're hoarding vaccines here in the United States of America, and we have a whole bunch of, I'm sorry, I got to go on a tangent.
Go ahead.
I, for one, say bully every single person who's still out here BSing us on this vaccine, because 700,000 people, if me bullying somebody is going to help us stay away from 1 million people dying, I think those 300,000 potential deaths that we could prevent would appreciate us bullying them. And so Nicki Minaj, if you haven't done the research, then might I suggest that you're quiet until you do the research before leveraging your platform to confuse the conversation. Even if there's some decent conversations that came out of it, y'all know that first tweet always goes further than the follow-up tweets.
I just don't bully anybody. That's just what I say. Now, when they are just out there saying like that,
or we sit by and watch them, let them die. That's, like the guy in our other video.
That's what I said. Didn't die. It's your choice. Didn't die. That's how y'all have to look at it. Then, girl, if you don't take it, die. Girl, that's fine.
We're not doing any of that.
Man.
No, seriously, because it hurts people when they're trying to make a decision. I know everybody isn't as quick, as fast, as smart, as whatever as everybody else. Whatever. We might take a little bit of time. It took me a little bit of time. I wish I would have gotten vaccinated sooner. That would have probably eased a lot of my anxiety, but I was just so afraid. But when I did it, I did it. I didn't push anybody else. My sister was like, "Oh, see, look at you. You should have never went and done it." A lot of people were afraid for me, my friends, my family, but I was like, let me be the example. I know that I'm going over to Mexico. Like, I know that I'm going to be traveling other places. Even when I went to New Orleans for that weekend, they required the vaccination, right? So, a lot of the people in my life who weren't vaccinated either got COVID or there was some COVID hit close to home, and that was their cause to do it. Nicki Minaj got COVID, and she said it in her testimony that I got COVID, and that was the worst, not being able to touch my child, not being able to be around my child. So this is something that I really want to look further into. So it's those things. People are going to have to choose. I know that the beginning of the conversation, because when I first saw, I said, "Oh no, Nicki, no."
Right.
No. But sometimes we do got to read a little further. I know sometimes it's hard in the social media space when everything is kind of like microwave. When we get it, we get it in the line.
Attention span gone.
That's good enough for us. But I think
Rebecca,
in this
you
particular...
do know. You're the number one person, and I'm not saying this to correct you, but I'm saying it to point out you understand the responsibility of these people with these platforms, right? You understand, like, once you have millions of people who hang on every word, that once you say something, like I can't just go out there and tweet anything that I want to tweet without actually thinking about how it's going to impact people. And I think Nicki Minaj, in this instance, at a minimum, she did not think this thing through in terms of her responsibility as a mega influencer. Her personal business is her personal business.
You can't say
but
that.
She got committed. Why not? She got a responsibility.
That's why it became that's why it became a conversation. I've seen other.
Well, then I got to bully her out of the paint so that people can see the stupidity of the moment. I can't leave stupid people with platforms and then blame people who are following the stupidity. Like, it's got to be like, either we're going to get these piss poor influencers out the paint, or they got to be responsible with their platform. Otherwise, we're left like sheep to the slaughter.
So let me be clear, right? Sheep to the slaughter. That word to Bubba. But let me be clear, very clear, Crystal. I do not condone anybody using their platform to speak against getting vaccinated or to bully anybody into getting vaccinated or, whatever. Because like I said, that I don't roll with it. I have been the person on the other side, right? And you guys coached me through it. You didn't bully me into getting vaccinated. You coached me through the reasons why I needed to get vaccinated. I watched you get vaccinated and I watched Bubba get vaccinated. I saw what you guys told me, what your experiences were. I literally was like, okay, there's something I need to do. I stayed my behind in the house. Okay. When I did not go anywhere. It was a lonely time for me. I made sure that I wore my mask, and I advised a lot my parents who were not going to get vaccinated to wear their mask sometimes. And I used my platform. That was my truth, right? People in the comment section even encouraged me as well. Hey, Beck, like, you should get vaccinated. This is why. I think that moment for Nicki Minaj starting off the conversation that way was, and trying to have these different instances, but people were like, that's okay, Nikki, but let's look at the numbers here. And Nikki was being responsive to it. She wasn't being rude to those people. She was being open to it. That's what I'm saying led to conversation. I've watched people, and I don't even really care for Nikki like that. That's just my truth. I'm not defending her because it's Nicki Minaj. No, I saw where the conversation led. These are conversations that are happening in households. Some of these conversations lead to people saying, F the vaccine. I don't want it. Yeah. There's something in it, all that. But this was a teachable moment, I think, for her. And the conversation led to a lot of her fans doing, helping her out on that. Like, hey, sis, hold on. You a little wrong here. Okay. Let's kind of look at what the numbers look like. Let's talk about this. She even said that she's going to have to get vaccinated for work. She even encouraged those who had to get vaccinated for work to continue that. That's a good thing that, whatever. Right.
So she's still encouraging.
People,
right.
Yeah. But she's saying that her choice is that. But at the same time, I get it. Using your platform 100% to have a conversation that that will construe, like that will take things left. Like the woman that I told you guys about day in and day out, even after she got vaccinated, she was like, well, the only reason I got vaccinated was for work. But still, like at the end of it, never gave, after months of telling people the CDC is trash, the CDC is wrong, that vaccine ain't right, all of that, telling her whole platform, never having full conversations about it. Every time that the conversations were brought up, she told them, nobody's going to tell me what to do. Ain't nobody going to tell me that. I know the vaccine. And I'm just saying, y'all over here getting vaccinated and still getting, it was very, very harmful. Never offered a conversation, got vaccinated for her funds, for her bank account to get herself together, and still was in these streets the whole time partying and hosting events. Okay. Now, and then that other guy I was telling you guys about who chose skincare.
Yeah. What's your boy name? What was his
Zoe,
name?
who chose skincare, who literally said it on his platform. People were trying to have a conversation saying, hey, you may want to look into it, right? He was like, I don't even care. I don't even care.
Was he the one that said the vaccine the mask messed up his skin?
They were saying, if you're not going to get back, they even said, if you're not going to get vaccinated, sir, just put on your mask at least. He said, I don't do masks. You see, some people are the ones that are not even accepting to the conversation, not even accepting to listening, not even accepting to saying, hey, like, right, Rebecca, I hear what you're saying.
I gotta interject only because we got about 60 seconds left here. This conversation, we're gonna light it up in the after party and finish it out. Patreon.com/like it or not, because it's rare. Like it's a subtle shades of disagreement here that I think are going to be really, really important to the national conversation, because y'all aren't wrong. Nicki Minaj wasn't totally wrong. It sounds like Joy Reid got read for filth. We got her clip. We're gonna let's finish the conversation in the after party. Patreon.com/like it or not. Rebecca, get the last word, and then James, take us to the after party.
Joy wasn't wrong. Nikki may have started off wrong. The conversation ended better, and it caused us to have a actual conversation about it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Some people are saying, Rebecca, just stop. I was Nicki Minaj on this show. If you guys roll the tape, you guys will see me having the conversation.
Don't tell them that. We don't want them to go back and watch all the.
No, it's okay, because it was a teachable. It was a teachable moment for me from you guys. I asked you guys questions, and you guys helped me understand. And guess what? Rebecca is waxed and vaxxed. Let's take it to the after show.
And then another thing too, David, I want to know what vaccine did they have in Trinidad that her brother took? I know somebody in the chat did say something about it, and that vaccine was a variation of something. So 9 times out of 10 it was a Pfizer and Moderna. But yeah, I
got to make sure we close out with this though. This one point of clear information. There's no ambiguity between the three of us. All three of us agree that these side effects from the vaccine are nothing compared to the side effects of dying of COVID-19. We all
of COVID-19. Hello.
Take it to the after party. We'll be back.
Amen. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Well, actually, you can't stay tuned. You know why you can't stay tuned? Because the after party is starting on next week. And if you have not already, patreon.com/like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not, or patreon.com/WBD show. Make sure that you go ahead and join so you can get access to the patron parties, after parties, and also some exclusive content, man. Thank y'all again for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all in the after party. And if you're not in the after party, go ahead and slide over to our brother Pascal and visit him on the Pascal show, okay? This show is starting. Actually, yeah. All right. If not, we'll see y'all tomorrow. brother Goku. What's going on, Goku? Y'all, welcome back. Ben and Rebecca, y'all, to the screen. 9 times out of 10, Rebecca's probably eating. Can y'all be bringing back most inopportune times? Okay. I'm glad I didn't catch you this morning. Good. Okay.
Yeah, no, I did. I came back eating, but I inhaled it. It was a muffin. I inhaled it. It was a blueberry muffin. So it's crazy that we're back. And I still want to
finish the conversation.
Yeah, finish the conversation. But there's something else I want to add to it. And I think that you guys would really love that one too. I wish you would have did this in the main show, but there's so much that has been going on related to politics mixed with entertainment. And yes, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. But
do you want to start there or do you want to finish? No. Okay, let's start there. Let's start with.
Do we have that clip with Joy Reid? If we can hear it from her mouth herself and what she said as it pertains to Nicki Minaj's vaccine tweets.
And people like Nicki Minaj, I have to say this. You have a platform, sister, that is 22 million followers. Okay, I have 2 million followers. You have 22 million followers on Twitter. For you to use your platform to encourage our community to not protect themselves and save their lives, my God, sister, you could do better than that. You got that platform. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that you got that people listen to you. And they listen to you more than they listen to me. For you to use your platform to put people in the position of dying from a disease they don't have to die from. Oh, my God. As a fan, as a hip hop fan, as somebody who was your fan, I'm so sad that you did that. So sad that you did that, sister. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So this is now when I see that, I agree with her on that first tweet, but I wish that she would have expanded on the conversation and showed the rest of the conversation that happened because there was more to it. And I think that it could have been, hey, I'm so disappointed that you did that, but I also see that you are unaware of what this vaccine actually does, that you don't know the truths, the numbers. So you said you're going to do the research. Here's what you can do and what you can share to your fans. I see that you're encouraging fans to get vaccinated. Why you're encouraging fans to get vaccinated because you know it's for their jobs, it's job securities. There must be something in this. Like it could have been a further of a conversation because what she was saying after that particular tweet was that I'm scared of this vaccine. I'm afraid of getting this. I've had COVID and I'm afraid of COVID too, but I'm afraid of getting this vaccine because I don't know what it may do to me. And it could have been, boom, a conversation because it wasn't only that Nicki Minaj said, like, she didn't tell her people, like, oh, don't go get vaccinated at all. There was more of a conversation that happened. There were more tweets. And sometimes we get so stuck on that. I hate that we have to now focus on
Rebecca.
Social media and tweets. But that's where the conversation lies. It doesn't matter who you are. Even Joy Reid herself had to answer to some of her tweets. And maybe there were more to the conversation for her as well. Like, for anything that she had to either apologize about or question. Like, we've seen this already. Sometimes we take people's tweets out of context. Here, the tweets weren't taken out of context. She was right. If I was Joy Reid, because when I saw that one tweet first thing I was like, come on, girl. No, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. Yeah. But then when I saw the conversations further, like I understood, okay, she needs to have this conversation. She needs some people you need to walk them through it, hold their hand. I know that she has a circle around her. Did you hear the examples that she was given? People are telling her, girl, you ain't got the vaccine, but I do. And I was just as sick. That's not helpful. The people around her are not helpful. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So so that's why her fans are coming in saying, hey, I'm in the number of people who are vaccinated. And I can tell you for sure that I got COVID-19 and the symptoms that I got were nowhere near this. Somebody else was able to amen that. There was a long list of an amen corner. That was examples for her to have and say, you know what, guys, thanks for having this conversation. I need to do my research and really know. I think that was a part of something to help her open up and see that the vaccination isn't something that, will kill her. You know what I'm saying? That will harm her. It's going to make her more safe for her and her child. She said that she didn't even like having COVID and having to be away from her kid. She wants an option to be able to be safe and keep her family safe. She's just afraid. That's That's what I got from it, because I'm telling you, I was there. I was in that hot seat. You were calling me like, girl, if you don't go get vaccinated, Rebecca, it's better because you want to go outside. Get vaccinated, sis.
And you got to understand, man, because like I said, once you listen to, especially when you listen to family, it sometimes you take that as law, as word, because it's family. You think family's not gonna lie to you, not gonna do you wrong. So I'm not mad at her for what she said, but you do have to read those tweets, because I'm the type of person, when I'm on social media, if I see a tweet like that, girl, let me go do research. Let me go back to the original tweet first and then read down like, oh, okay, so this is what happened. Okay, Nikki, but I see why you posted that, because you heard from a family member. I heard different stuff from family members as well too. But at the end of the day, I knew that I still had to protect my family, my mom and my daddy, because if I'm over there all the time, I got to make sure they're good. If it hadn't been for them, dead ass, I probably wouldn't have got the damn vaccine, because I had my reputation.
We just said it. When it hits close to home and stuff, or when we start realizing stuff, or how we're shit up, and then it's like, now we can be a voice for people who, like, I can say, hey, it's better for you to be vaccinated because now I know. I know. And who helped me with that? You guys did. I can say that 100%, because my family was, don't do it. You already know you already sick, and you know you always be sick anyway. So you ain't even got no kids yet. It was all of that. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it goes, y'all. But and there, all of these examples, all of this misinformation, her fans came and corrected her behind in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds. Because they knew she was giving misinformation.
Cause see, we talk about these people and they big platforms, but don't forget, the fans have a big part as well too. When you have a huge fan base like that, 22 million people, you're gonna have at least 20 million of them gonna come correct that ass and make sure that you get it together, or you're gonna get canceled.
And what I also like is that she wasn't pushing back. If you look at the conversations that she had with her fans, she was having an actual conversation. She wasn't pushing back. What I've seen with people, these people with these platforms will cuss your behind out or dismiss what you're saying, period. And I've seen that. I said, now that's problematic. I got family members. I'm not going to disown my mama. I know some of y'all got some hard parents. I've seen some people disown their parents because they have been saying things like weirdo stuff, like conspiracy theories and things. And in essence, my friends and family were in the conspiracy theories conversations.
James, did you notice how Rebecca picks up the New York accent when she talks about Nicki Minaj? That Brooklyn accent comes out of her. Go ahead, Rebecca.
I don't know.
She does.
I don't know.
I just want you to know I'm listening intently to everything. Go ahead.
So it probably does. But all of that, I'm saying, like, my family, my friends, they've all been in on some form of conspiracy, even me. And I may not have thought it was conspiracy at the time, right? But looking back, it was a disservice having these conversations. But now that I know better, after I've been vaccinated, I was able to say, hey, you may be down for a week, but baby, when you get back up, sis, you're going to be able to go to that vaccinated only event. You're going to be able to go to that restaurant where everybody else looking outside mad because they ain't vaccinated. You will be good. You will be fine. Mm-hmm. You will be fine. So it's fine. We're going to get the natural. We're going to get the natural. But I think this conversation, we need to really look at people who want the help and hear them out instead of being very abusive. Because I feel like sometimes, I don't think Joy-Ann Reid was abusive though. I don't. I think she did go off of that one tweet and was like, oh no, you too, Nikki. You too, Nikki.
A2 Nikki.
We've done that so many times where we've seen a piece of an article, read the headline, and that ain't even what it's about. It's not even what anything may be about or anything like that.
Can I just offer a possibility though? Can I offer a possibility? Had not everybody and their mama roundly bring Nicki Minaj to the woodshed.
You saw B comment, Rebecca.
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, B. Go ahead.
Wait, what B say before I go ahead? Because BB's settling the universe here. What'd she say?
She said Rebecca is going to be talking normally and just get progressively more wild until she's just spitting Nicki's verse from Monster. Right. Pull up in the Monster automobile gangster.
It's coming out of her because it's in her, man. Like as soon as she started talking about Nicki Minaj, she started sounding like
it probably just comes out of me, and it won't be a Queen's accent because the Queen's accent to me is very real. Like the Queen's accents that people have, that's a very real accent.
Well,
he probably has that accent.
My accent is I was just outside on the break, barefoot in the country, listening to the cicadas. But that's my accent. The thing I want y'all to consider,
big ass things.
Some things are like
they're real, and they attack me on my balcony. I did not know that I would have that testimony either. Cicadas are real.
Yeah, y'all keep them.
But they're high in protein.
I'm glad I don't have it on this side of town. I just have a lot of fireflies. I don't see no cicadas.
They're high. Listen, they're rich in protein. Y'all should keep that in mind as our supply channels start to break down across the country. But I'm be on some other stuff, yeah. But the point is, I want y'all to consider it's a high. What do you think Nicki Minaj would have done if she tweeted that trend? Because we all agree. It started off with a tweet about something she heard from her family in Trinidad that we all agree, like, hold on, sis, like, what is this tweet about? Do we all at least agree on that much? That the initial tweet was a problem.
It sent me into a halt of, oh, sis, what are we doing? What are we doing? But
was that the initial tweet though?
But that's what she started off with. She even started off with that in the conversation that she did when she read Joy Her Right. She's like, I started with this, but y'all didn't want to see the rest of it. And that one, because it was a conversation that was being had, like, why aren't you going to the Met? Why aren't you going to VMAs? Why aren't you going? Why aren't you stepping out? Why aren't you out of the house? And she was like, yeah, I got a whole kid. COVID is real. COVID-19 is out there, and I'm trying to protect my child. And that led to the rest of this whole thing. And she gave her testimonial of her family members. She gave all of that. And then her friends and family online, with the barbs, they're like, oh, hold on now, Nicki, I love you, mean it. But what we're not going to do, what we're not going to do is say that vaccinations are wrong. You have these other options in the meantime. But you need to know this is my story with vaccines, and here are the numbers with vaccines.
I think what I'm trying to get at is two different things. And I guess the first thing I should ask is a question. What particularly do you all feel was, because I feel like y'all feel like there's an injustice that was done against Nicki Minaj in this scenario. And I want to see if y'all could what is a core thing that irritates y'all about this story from Nicki's perspective?
I can't say irritate. Now, I wouldn't use the word irritate, and I would not say that Nicki Minaj is being attacked either, because now, and I say attacked by Joy Ann Reid. That wasn't the case. Joy Ann Reid read one tweet that everybody's initial reaction is to people who have large platforms and something that could be problematic. And the problem is a lot of times I've even had to catch myself in this day and age of popcorn information. Like what we'll do is put something, quickly 30 seconds, because we'll read 10 seconds of that thing and literally roll with it and say, I read that article and it was really just the headline. And that's the information that we attach to this person. But when you read the article, it ain't got nothing to do with the headline. It was that kind of moment. I think Joy Ann Reid should have expanded on the conversation and said, hey, Nicki Minaj, when you tweeted that, or that tweet right there could have been very problematic, but thanks to your fans, or thanks to you being open to the conversation online about what you're dealing with COVID-19, that you're actually afraid, and being open to the conversation and encouraging your barbs to get vaccinated. But in the same sense, I hope that encourages you to get vaccinated, because here is what COVID-19 is doing in the United States now. And here is what the vaccines are doing in the United States now.
So if you're talking about it, because if we're talking about an injustice, like let's really break this down, because we got about whatever amount of time we need, but 9 minutes left. See, Nicki Minaj, her tweet to Joy Ann Reid was to call her a lying homophobic coon. And talking about reindeer.
She called it half truths. She said, I know these are not true, but these are media. She was saying, I know these aren't true, but these are what the media said about you. And what I can do is take that too and make it something that's real. So I can take half of the story and make that something that's real.
I do want us to I'm going to give y'all my perspective, just like y'all give y'all perspective. Nicki Minaj, if unchecked, would have left that tweet about chlamydia standing. And I'm sorry, I call it chlamydia because that's what's trending on Twitter right now in response
it's not
to
chlamydia,
her. In response to, the side effects that she's describing. The side effects that she's describing are more consistent with chlamydia than they are the side effects of COVID-19. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Like she's mad that she got called out, and everybody does that when you make a bad. Okay, we're going to start here. The Trinidad tweet was a bad tweet. Can we at least agree there?
The Trinidad tweet wasn't a bad tweet. That was what she was using as a testimony. I could have told you guys,
it's a bad tweet. It's a bad tweet.
No, it's her experience.
It's her experience, right?
It's different.
So what responsibility does at what level of responsibility does a person have to their audience though? Like because that tweet about Trinidad got 99,000 likes as compared to the rest. Well, I just want you to metrically compare it. The original tweet about and I'll yield the floor to you, Rebecca. The original tweet about Trinidad and her cousin getting inflamed testicles and all that has at this point 98,000 likes. Mm-hmm. The responses are the conversation that ensued does not have anything compared to that. And so what I'm saying is that it's a bad tweet because she sent it out to all of her followers, and that's the predominant message that was heard in terms of people engagement. So even if there was a meaningful conversation that happened afterwards, just like you said, that initial thing that people read headlines, it goes both ways. People read the headlines and read the tweets. Joy-Ann Reid jumped on it and got called out for it. Fine. But that tweet also has been resonating in the hearts of 100,000 people who liked it. That's a huge problem.
And it's a very huge problem, but it's the same thing, Ben. I know we don't have as much viewers or whatever the case may be, but I sat right here in the show and I told you guys, I won't take the vaccine right now. I need more research because I've already seen that even the vaccine is having some kind of effect on primarily women. Right? That's something that I said here. That was facts of the matter. I told you guys that I'm a woman and I have pre-existing conditions that deal with people with vaginas.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine that caused blood clotting in women. Here. Yeah.
And we were having the conversation. Yeah. People in the comment section alone were saying, I'm afraid too. I'm a woman and I've heard this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. I came back on this same platform. And I was like, hey, guys, that was Johnson & Johnson. I know there are other vaccines out there that are not showing those issues in women. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go for this one. Right? It started a conversation. Now, that was something that was my testimony and how I felt about it and whatever the case may be. But I had to go through the growing process. Now, granted, I know my platform isn't as big as Nicki Minaj's, but even in that instance, anybody can get correction, but I love when people are open to it. And Nicki Minaj was open to the correction when it was being given to her in a sense where, let me school you on this one.
But I guess our only disagreement then is I do feel that she has 100% responsibility. See, if she can make money off of her fans, then she has a responsibility to deliver correct information to her fans that's not rooted in some kind of family anecdote. Because if I listened to everything my family said and then reported it on Twitter, I would not have a career. But she will because, her fans are listening to her for other things. And they're going to listen to that anecdote, and 100,000 of them have liked it and taken it to heart. Just think for a second, 100,000 people who liked that tweet, if they then conclude we're not going to get the vaccine because it could possibly cause inflammation in our testicles.
And the thing is, it's a thread. The tweet was a thread.
Right.
It's like we all know how to use Twitter, Ben. I understand that was one tweet.
Yeah, because it's 100,000 people.
This is like me reading the Bible. This is like me tweeting something about
a quote.
Something, right? And everybody may like it. And I've had stuff that has gone viral because of you, Ben, because, you popping like that. So when you retweet my stuff, it get a lot of likes. But I have stuff that have gone viral. I got videos that have millions of views on it. Yes, me, right? And some of the stuff I say on there are cringeworthy, but I've had the conversation in the comment section like, you know what? Thanks for that. I didn't realize that. Things like that. I needed the correction, my guy. I needed the correction. I really did. And so I think that I think the only thing for me is that she is open to the conversation. But when you're being
she's embarrassed now because she got out there talking about her family anecdote looking like a clown.
But you got to understand. Bring the tweet back on the screen real quick. I don't think so either. You got to understand. She just shared a story of hers that she said, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. And his testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called for the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bully. To me, I don't see an issue with that because she did say in there, just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bully.
All right. So
I don't see this seeing it's coming off as giving misinformation or swaying people not to get the vaccine. To me, I see it as sharing a story. Now, if y'all out there taking Twitter that seriously and listening to these people like that, for one, you make rap music. I don't listen to you for any information regarding my health at all. So you got to be smart like that. I don't look at it like that. And that's me coming from an entertainer perspective. I'm not taking anything from you about, Nicki Minaj not getting the vaccine. I'm not going to get it. Go to hell.
So two things.
But I need to understand for everybody. I need to understand that for everybody, because what we do is we only will, if AOC said something that was so amazing about the vaccine, we're going to post it, whatever. But if she would have shared this story about her family member or whatever, we would eat her alive as well.
Absolutely.
We're not taking I'm not taking Nicki Minaj's side. What I'm telling you is all I've seen online when it comes to people who are, or if you say like who deserve to be bullied, are people like the people that I've named before, like I Am Zoe. And at the beginning for me, that influencer, that Haitian influencer that I was telling you about, that's literally telling folks do not get vaccinated. That's telling folks that the CDC is lying to you. That's telling folks the government is X, Y, and Z. Those are the people that are problematic. But the people that are open to being like to correction and to saying, hey, I know that was your family member. My family members are around here saying that they've been sick and down for 2 months, and they was only sick and down for 1 week after the vaccine.
Right.
They like, you see what I'm saying?
Just be lying.
Just be lying. And what I'm saying is like, but when you're open to people correcting you and saying, no, that's not it. I got this. And this is what the numbers are saying. If we look right here, what scientists are saying or what the research has said, this is what they're saying. Here's a link to this. You can definitely look at that. And she said she needs to do her research. Some people just really haven't done research because family
I'm so tired of hearing that phrase, research.
Because family and family experiences were their research. That was my research.
Yeah. That was my research.
And what they felt like and things like that until I got it myself. And I was like, oh, well, here's my testimony about it. And here are the numbers here and where my area is and where I live and things like that. Like I had to do research because in the beginning, my research was whatever I was just like hearing and things like that. Listen, and then my fear.
That's the key right there, Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
That's an important key. It's what you are hearing, and it's what you're hearing through family, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm hearing y'all correctly, y'all hearing it through people that y'all trust, y'all hearing it through friends, and then every now and then you get an anecdote on the internet that you're like, dang, that's wild. What I'm saying is, as influencers, you do have a response. Now, whether or not y'all think an influencer has a responsibility, I can tell you as a person that got just a little fraction, the smallest fraction.
They do have a responsibility.
They got a responsibility.
They do.
And you can't just come out there. You can't come out there because this sentence, this is what this sentence does, whether Nicki intended it to do it or not, right? And I think the difference is, I hear you saying, Rebecca, is that she ain't mean no harm. She was just scared. Is that kind of?
No, what I'm saying is, she didn't mean any harm by stating what she said. She was just posting, this is what happened. First of all, this is why I'm not going to the award show, because COVID is real. Do you guys agree with that? Mm-hmm. COVID is real. Mm-hmm. And this is what my cousins told me about their experience with being vaccinated.
Flag on the play. Yeah, so that's where the flag on the play is for me.
That was that. But for me, she said that's her experience. I can't say that's not true. I can't say that's not true for somebody.
I'm going to say, you know what? At a certain point, you got to say, bring the receipts then. Because if you're going to insert an anecdote into the international conversation about the pandemic, you damn well better have done at least the research on your cousin in Trinidad. Can we at least agree on that? That she should be able to substantiate this pretty big claim that she's putting out to 22 million people.
But I mean, do other people substantiate all of this stuff? Let's be honest, though.
No.
You got a lot of these people that don't substantiate any of these things.
Not only this tweet, though, my loves. I love that. I get it. This was the first tweet, right? But this wasn't the first tweet. But this was the tweet that got a lot of the attention. Not only because that she tweeted it, but because we did. Joy Ann Reid took it to media as she should have. But the conversation should have been expanded to say. Then the conversation led to blah 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 blah. What she said is.
Well, I'm sure Joy gonna do that tonight. You know, I mean, she did that like the tweet. If you look at the time on the tweet was at 5:44 p.m. Joy Ann Reid was live talking about it somewhere around 6:15. So
what I'm saying is that's what should have been done yesterday. And if she does it today, I love Joy Ann Reid, and she's known.
But why does Joy Ann Reid have more responsibility to be kind to Nicki Minaj than Nicki Minaj has a responsibility to be accurate to her audience?
Because Nicki Minaj's tweet that you're so focused on was expanded the same way I'm asking Joy Ann Reid to do. She literally had and said, you know what, guys, I'm going to do more research on this. You know what, guys, I'm just scared. You know what, guys, well, you're saying this, but this was my experience. You know what, that's true. You know what, guys, make sure that you go get vaccinated. That was more of the conversation that it led to. But what Joy Ann Reid was stuck on that one tweet, what she could have did was offer her something like you guys did to me. I was so stuck on what I was hearing. I was so stuck on an experience. And I understand that you guys are saying the difference is I'm not Nicki Minaj. Still, there are people who do watch this, and it's over 1,000, right? That watch this. To me, that's a big responsibility, right? For our conversations here. So y'all made sure while I'm over here stating my truths, you guys were still encouraging me and not bullying me. And that's what was going on beyond that one tweet that she did. The conversation.
What stage can we start bullying? What stage then? Because what stage can we start bullying these people?
When you're telling people, don't you dare go get vaccinated. The vaccines aren't real. The CDC is a lie. I did my research, and this is what science says for me, that when they put COVID-19 into you, you're getting implanted with 666. When they put COVID-19 into you, also, because I'm not getting vaccinated, you all should not go get vaccinated. Because I'm not wearing my mask, you all shouldn't wear your mask because that's not the American way. What about the far more
insidious approach? Brother James, I'm
still here.
My camera did the exact same thing to me while I was live with TYT. I had to cut off.
Oh, dang. Why you done took the like it or not energy over to the white folks?
It's right.
Right. To these good white folks.
At least he wasn't over there faking. At least we know he was real over there on TYT.
Listen, we go. No. Like, I'm dealing with the real thing here. And then we're out of time. We're over time. And it's a great conversation. I would just offer, and then you guys get the last word because I know y'all got to hit these streets. I'm just going to offer that what's worse? What's worse than the blatant stuff of these clowns like Tucker Carlson saying, oh, don't get the vaccine or take ivermectin. What's worse are these really subtle things that quietly sow fear into the hearts of our listeners. And for Nicki to put this out here, I 100% stand by the fact that she has a responsibility to be held accountable for that tweet, even if you take into account the subsequent conversation. That's fine. But hey, Nicki, this is a type of thing that sows confusion and fear into the hearts of your supporters. And I firmly believe she has a responsibility with that size platform.
So two things. First, I think her cousin's friend dodged a bullet because if his wife just gonna leave him because some unexplained growth in the testicles, she won't. She wasn't meant to be there.
She wasn't the right one anyway.
Exactly.
But second, and on a more serious note, why do we even give a damn what Nicki Minaj or Busta Rhymes or any of these other people have to say?
Bruh.
We should be teaching the people. And Joy Reid, why is she even taking the time to respond on her huge platform where she's supposed to be spitting facts? Why respond to it? Because we should be teaching people where to find relevant information. We should be teaching our kids what sources to trust and how to find good sources to trust. But instead, we talking about Nicki Minaj and some huge testicles. Like, why do we?
That's exactly what this is.
I would pose that says something about society, and that Joy's doing it because she knows how many people actually pay attention to the celebrities.
Yeah, but by her doing that,
I'm not arguing.
I agree with what you're saying. But by her doing that, all she's doing is advancing Nicki Minaj's platform to even more people. And continuing to push this, so then people are like, oh yeah, maybe I can listen to Nicki Minaj instead of rebutting her false information with facts. All right, let's talk to a doctor who can actually tell us some facts.
Here's the dilemma. Go ahead.
Ben, this is where you're going to say, this is where you said, I think, why are we telling Joy Ann Reid to give him more accountability? If Joy Ann Reid feels so strong about this particular tweet, and in the fact that it made it to news, a few news cycles, and Joy Ann Reid, I know she said, I ain't got 20 million, but I got 2 million. Starting the conversation is great, but I told you, if we expanded further on that and offered more information, research, numbers and things like that to correct that misinformation that she considers misinformation, even though it's that girl's testimony about that man's pee-pee. Now, if we moved forward with that, I think that would have been better. That would have been a conversation.
Okay, because it's got to be a line in the sand, though. What could she have said for y'all to finally say, okay, Nicki Minaj, you got to be? Could she have said, I would have gotten the vaccine, but
I literally listed,
but I grew a unicorn horn.
No, I don't even give up. I don't give a damn about Nicki Minaj being Nicki Minaj. They asked her why the hell she ain't going out. She answered her fans and said because of COVID.
She answered the question.
And then she just added that as an extra information. But then
she added that as why she didn't gotten the vaccine, right? She said this is her testimony. No, she said
that's a fear. This is why I'm afraid. But that wasn't the only thing that she talked about. If here we can see that she talked about her somebody else.
What good is indulging in the fear if you're not going to unravel? Like I don't have any sympathy for people.
Though. What happened is her fans forced her to unravel and make her happy.
Let's add up the metrics.
Focusing on the first top part of the tweet, because even at the end she says, "So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision."
But we're past the prayer part. We're at the mu variant. We're getting ready to get to the iota variant.
Everybody is not as comfortable as we are about this because, like I said, my sisters won't get the vaccine because she can't. And then because of the side effects that may happen from her getting the vaccine. As much as we talked about it, and even her doing her research and talking to a doctor, she still can't get it. So
if those 100,000 likes.
What we're going to agree on, because we're at the end of the show, and I would love to have talked about this. No, she shouldn't have deleted it because this is a conversation that literally has brought us here. And it's brought us to a moment where we got to say no more misinformation. Okay, it looks like Nicki Minaj is scared. It looks like people around her aren't making it any better. As her fans, let's add to that conversation and let her know, hey, this is what it is. This is what it really is. I know you hear about this, but this is our experience with it right here in America. We're vaccinated, and I can tell you I've gotten COVID, and I beat it. There were more than one people on there, and she has said, thank you for sharing that, right? Because that's helpful. And I think that would have been so helpful for Joy Ann Reid to also add to her
But you know what else would have been helpful, though, Rebecca?
Instead, Ben, of just focusing on us saying, hey, you should have never done that. But Busta Rhymes, yes, that man was wrong for going in front of those people and telling them that the vaccine is fake and we need to be outside.
And don't wear a mask.
And don't wear a mask.
I'm sorry. I listen. And again, listen, intent is cool. If Nicki's intent was, I'm afraid, cool. But the impact is the same. If those 100,000 people who liked it, let's say 10%, 10,000 of them decide not to get the vaccine. Y'all, Nicki Minaj is responsible at that point because she has used her platform in a way that continued that same misinformation, confusion, and this in the minds of her supporters. If somebody goes out and does something because I said it, I do feel like I have a responsibility to it.
So I kind of agree with the responsibility, but it's more natural selection. If people are stupid enough to listen to these dumb things from Trump or Busta Rhymes or Nicki Minaj or whoever is spitting this stupid stuff, then let them go. Let them go.
Yeah.
If they stupid enough.
Let them die.
And if we really care about the next generation, we need to teach them that these are not the people that you need to be listening to because they don't give a damn about you.
Absolutely. But how many generations we've been trying to teach ourselves that for generations? The reason Nicki Minaj has 22 million followers and everybody else has like 10 is because she is propped up, just like Busta Rhymes in his day, just like all these entertainers. They are propped up in these positions, making money for white folks. And then they come in and sashay into the conversation. They come in with these problematic messages that getting black folks killed.
Beyonce
it's not a problematic message, though. It's just a story. It's like Beyonce she just
It's a Bama-ass story that probably ain't true.
So that's just like if I go and put on Twitter that so my cousin who got COVID said he ain't getting the vaccine because his left testicle fell down the drain when he took it. So y'all just make sure y'all wait and pray on it and then see what happens. That's the same thing. It's the same thing I'm doing. It's just the story. Everybody call it an anecdote. Just sharing the experience.
Let me tell you, you guys are so caught on the fact that it's Nicki Minaj.
Even though it is a platform.
Whoever it is.
But I'm telling you, hold on. I'm telling you that read further. Because what we do is we pick and we choose where to say that at, right? Just if y'all continue to read and say, damn, she was schooled. She was schooled by her own supporters about this damn vaccine with the facts. And she was also walked over to a place where it could be, hey, I know you're afraid, but because when people are scared, the thing that we can't do, and they could be putting out misinformation, the thing we can't do is continue to push them like to the place where they're going to continue to use their platform to continue to put out misinformation.
That's
so
true.
let me go ahead and let me aid you to that. Now, I can honestly say, too, at the same time, you know, the influence of these people, yes, I say this all the time. Yeah, when you have a large platform, it is to your benefit to tell the people the right thing and tell people what you're feeling or whatever the case may be, but do not lead them to a place where it's like, do not go get vaccinated. Don't wear your mask or whatever the case may be.
What if they draw that conclusion out of fear, though? What if they do that conclusion on their own? Would you, Rebecca, feel you have any responsibility to someone implicitly drawing that conclusion from something that you said?
Yes, and I'll go ahead and correct myself. And I think that if you read the list of tweets, you see that at some point she's coming to a place of, okay, I need to figure this out. She should have
done that research before she got on Cardi B's internet.
That's what led to the conversation, though. That's what led to the conversation. Yeah. I mean, but I would say, like, Beyonce told everybody to go vote for Beto. Do you think that happened in her sweet state of Texas? We're talking about Beyonce. She owns the internet. She told people to go do one thing. They didn't do it. People do have a mind of their own. They do have genitals of their own. They do have a body of their own. They can literally go forward and think their own things. It's just in times like this, sometimes we put a lot of pressure where there shouldn't be. I think right now this was a beautiful moment that's showing a learning opportunity. I do think that. And I think that Joy Ann Reid was right. I like that she's always on the go when it comes to this vaccine. I do not think that she attacked Nicki Minaj. We saw what she said. It wasn't an attack. It was just like, damn, girl, you my girl. I love you. I don't think that was beneficial to your audience. But I think that Joy Ann Reid should have expanded the conversation with the more tweets. As a journalist, right? That's what we should do. I think that should have been a thing. Don't focus on that one tweet.
If she does that tonight, then you're cool with it.
If she does it tonight, I mean, it is what it is. If she apologizes or not, she doesn't need to apologize. If she just goes further on her tweets and says, it looks like there was a conversation that was had, and then tells people where to go get vaccinated.
Okay, I got it. I know what we do.
Gives people the numbers on the side, the science behind it. Tell people
because I know y'all got to go. I know y'all got to go. James,
real quick, Ben, what I'm about to say, why are we even... I think we expect too much from some of these people. Like, I only expect Nicki Minaj, Busta Rhymes, Lil Wayne, Kanye West, Drake. All I expect y'all to do is play goddamn music. I'm not coming for y'all for information like this. And that's, at the end of the day, that's all it is. If you're coming to somebody, if you're paying attention to this for COVID stuff, the tweet man got 100,000 likes. Let's be honest. When you on Twitter, you scrolling, you just liking stuff because who it is. If you see Nicki Minaj's name, you automatically just gonna hit that like button and keep scrolling. So just because it says 100,000 likes, 9 times out of 10, that is not affecting anything. And don't think that these kids that's out here reading this stuff, honestly, I really don't think this is affecting anything. It's really not. We talk about these people having their platform and using their platform from this. Who's paying them to use their platform for this, though? I'm not going to get on here and talk.
Now there's money. There's money.
I think some of these folks...
Another hour and a half conversation.
Because there are people...
I think some of these folks are very responsible. A$AP Rocky for saying that Black lives don't matter. Lil Wayne, all of them people, that's problematic. But we're not here on that right now.
That's problematic. That's problematic.
But y'all, we are in a... You can go, y'all, but solidarity and salutations. But y'all, come on, man. Like, we talking about the pandemic. 700,000 people dead. Not juvenile.
If you don't want to get the vaccine, then die. Simple as that. Nothing to say.
I tell you what. I won't bully them. Right? But I am going to sign off every single conversation with the person who's still trying to do their research on the vaccine. If you don't want to get it, then die.
And for me, don't bully.
Don't bully him, though, right? They got to bring us back to Wayne. Yeah, bully him.
You're going to be dead.
You got to.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. It was a great conversation.
I'm
you got to understand because not all the CDC research is valid. It just because that research is there for scientists, it may not be effective for you because they may have done research for certain people and it hits them. But again, once we said you got to do your family research too. What did you feel after you did the vaccine? What did you feel? It's still research at the end of the day, and I can't get mad at nobody for you still researching. Even though, like you said, man, it's still out there. You gonna call out everybody that's still researching. Some people still need that time, man. At least you're researching. What's all I can ask for that you're researching?
Let me tell you what's catching up on y'all behinds. It's the goddamn COVID-19 killing people, man. They're killing children now. Y'all hurry up and do your research.
It's been killing children.
I think the numbers weren't showing that. And at the end of the day, I don't really
It's killing children more, though. Let's be clear. The Delta variant is killing children
more. Whatever.
Because they got the goddamn schools open.
You need to be protected. Vaccinate yourself. I agree with that. But I do not think that the answer is bullying. And I feel like if somebody is open to getting some kind of answers and to learning and to having a conversation and to possibly getting the vaccine, let's walk them as much as we can over to the vaccinated
side. Your education should not come at the expense of the national. We all had to. You want to know why we had this conversation? Is because we had to, because we all had to suffer through Nicki Minaj's research. That's what we had to suffer through.
No, y'all had to suffer through my research.
See? No, Ben.
You guys had to suffer through my research. You guys stuck with me for months, almost a year of me being skeptical about getting the vaccine. And y'all stuck right with me. Y'all stuck right
There's no new research coming out that's going to tell you anything different.
No, it is. No, you're lying. There's a third dose coming out that's going to be covering.
No, exactly. In terms of your survivability, and we got to, we can close on anything you want to close, but we got to make sure the facts are here. In terms of survivability, you might get the flu symptoms. You might feel crappy. You might be down for a week or 2 weeks or a month, depending on your family tree. I dig it, right? But in terms of survivability, that vaccine, you're going to survive. Not getting it, you ain't going to survive because it's killing people. So just, I want to make sure that we understand no matter what the side effects are of this vaccine, which one is not an enlarged testicle? I'm going to make sure we investigate that for Nikki if she doesn't. We're going to do the research.
Make sure you find out which one that vaccine is that's in Trinidad.
We're going to check every vaccine, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and all the other ones that are made. And we're going to see if it causes inflamed testicles. We'll do the research on our behalf. But until such time, y'all go get the damn vaccine.
Dwayne,
love ya. I'm out of here.
Clip I just dropped.
Right.
I'm out of here. I ain't got no more. Love y'all. Don't bully nobody. And
don't bully nobody. Do your research. Do your research.
Bye. Patreon.com for your research. Like it or not.
What the hell?
Bye.
So I stay and just